Listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sacktown Sports and the Sacktown Sports app. Sacramento Kings basketball.
Oh, my goodness, that was thrown down with rigid authority.
The run to the playoffs.
Gets in the paint, goes to the two-hand flush off the bounce.
On Sacktown Sports 1140. Feeding your passion for local sports in the afternoon. It's the Drive Guys with Kevin Gleason and Kyle Draper on your radio at 1140 a.m.
Streaming audio at SacktownSports.com and the Sacktown Sports app.
You can also watch the show on YouTube at Sacktown Sports 1140. Here are the Drive Guys with Kevin Gleason and Kyle Draper.
Well, no Kyle Draper today. He's on the road with the Kings, and Jay will be with us momentarily. Thank you to Kyle Ledbetter. There we go. There's a substitution for Kyle Ledbetter. Jay Johnson. Disappointing last night. Disappointing Kings loss once again. Come crunch time, there's just no there. And we've seen this so many times now. Down the stretch of winnable games on the road where the Kings just tend to go into the DeMar DeRozan ISO ball, and then slowly but surely the game snowballs in the other direction. So that was disappointing. The A's game last night, I don't know what you thought of that, Jay. Obviously, the result was terrible from the A's standpoint. I'm still just getting adjusted to the whole atmosphere out there, but I thought the fans who were out there did a great job of supporting the team. There's no question. They were absolutely 100% solidly behind the Athletics. They did all they could do.
Yeah, I mean, did you expect any different?
I wasn't sure if it would be like full-throated, we love this team like we love the Kings, or if it would be more, hey, that's great. It's great to have baseball here. I'm here to see the other team as much as I'm here to see.
Yes, I see. There's your Vallejo roots coming out.
Maybe so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Sacramento's going to show up at any point in time when it comes to sports.
Yeah.
Unless given another reason not to.
Mm-hmm.
You know, now if you come out as an owner or, an organization, come out bad mouthing the people of Sacramento, then absolutely. But beyond that, one thing about Sacramento is, and there's a reason why we're a leader in the region of having live sports, come to Sacramento. Got a couple of NCAA championships coming our way, World's Strongest Man, X Games, things like that. There's a reason why. Yeah. Because we show up and show out.
Yeah. Well, don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying I didn't think they'd be there. I knew they'd be there. I just didn't know if they'd be fully behind the Athletics, which they clearly were, and which clearly did not matter last night. But we'll get back around to that. Evan Drellich, who covered the game last night for the Athletic, he's going to join us with his view of what happened, how it happened, not so much the game, but the presentation of the game. As far as the Kings last night, Jay, it just seems that you better be able as a team to figure this out. We've seen it over and over and over and over. Okay, well, if you're going to get through the play-in, and it really does look like they're solidly in the play-in. I know you look at the standings. Ooh, Suns are right behind them, but the Suns have no Durant for a while. They still have the toughest schedule. I think even if the Kings decided that, you know what, let's tank our way out of this. I don't think you could if you wanted to. So I think they're in the play-in. But if you want to get out of the play-in, you're going to have to win at least one road game, maybe two, which means you're going to have to protect a lead on the road in the fourth quarter. And the Kings can't figure out how to do that. They keep making the same mistakes. They get ISO heavy with DeMar DeRozan. The offense bogs down. After the game, the coach points out correctly, the offense got stagnant. The players say, yeah, we got away from the things that we did to get the lead, but it happens every game. And at some point, you better figure it out before you end up losing a playoff game, or a play-in game where you're saying, yeah, the offense just got stagnant there and we went away from the things that we're doing. It's frustrating, Jay.
Yeah, definitely. It's one of those things where, what they say, fool me once, shame on me, fool me twice, shame on me, fool me three times, shame on you type situation.
Yeah.
That's kind of the way
fool
I feel.
Me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.
Shame on me.
Yeah.
But I went an extra one just based on the fact that the Sacramento Kings have done it more than once, right? Yes. And so you see where I was going, being sarcastic. Yes. It's definitely one of those situations where the Sacramento Kings haven't learned from their mistakes in the past. They don't know their history, which has prevented them from moving forward in their future and certain endeavors on the floor. But what makes it worse is they're losing the exact same way more times than not. And so as a fan, absolutely, you're frustrated. You're part of the Kings kingdom. It's almost one of those things where you can see it. We all can see it.
Yeah.
So I know they can see it and feel it. They're a part of it. Change it. Do something drastically different.
Yeah.
And that's one of those things. And I don't know if you've ever done this or in your athletic career where you're consistently making the same mistake. And I'll just say for baseball, you're consistently dipping, meaning when you're hitting the backside of your body, the strong side of your body consistently dips. It sinks low while you're swinging the bat. And after a certain amount of time, when you're not getting a certain result, your hitting coach, coach, one of your counterpart players, they're going to say, try something new.
Sounds like
try
you've seen
something
me play,
different.
Jay. F7, baby. Dip that backside. F7. Again, yeah, F7.
Can of corn?
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where you can feel when you dip more times than not, and you see the result of a fly ball, as you say, can of corn fly ball, left field. It's one of those things where you have to over exaggerate. You over exaggerate something to make sure that you don't do or you complete the same mistake. So you might even go in there and chop the ball. You might, you do something a little different. And that's, I think, where I'm looking for the Sacramento Kings are. If they're so stagnant, how about every single time down you run a different play?
Right. Yes.
Just do something different.
Yeah. It's like you can see it coming. They have the lead. And, a lot of people talk about, I've heard people today talk about, they blew a 16-point lead. Well, it's the NBA. You have a big lead, especially if it's in the first half.
Yeah,
hang on. You just want to win. It's not like, they have that big lead. That's the NBA. But you do have that lead in the fourth quarter. You want to hang on to it. And it's like in Indiana Jones when he sees the big boulder coming. And as a Kings fan, you can almost, here it comes.
Indy.
Here it comes. Yeah. Indy, cover your heart.
Cold blood.
That guy's a huge star now.
He is. He's in one of these newest shows.
Major star.
Won an award last year, 2 years ago.
I didn't realize it was him until he won the award.
Yeah,
he won
he
the
talked
Academy
about
Award,
it.
or the Gold Globes, whatever. It's like, whoa, that's him. Anyway, you could see it coming. But the Kings all right, we're going to do what we did last time when we lost the game. And a lot of it, let's be honest, is DeMar DeRozan isolation. Yeah. And I don't know if he is such a mega star that nobody can say, DeMar, we're not doing that. It's a little mind-boggling.
Yeah, it is. You would think, I'll repeat it, you would think that they would, meaning the team, players, coaches, someone would say, let's just do something different. And maybe they have. I don't know. I would imagine, these people are professionals. Coaches are been in the game for a long time. I'm pretty sure they've definitely said, okay, let's do something different. But for whatever reason, just hasn't happened.
Here's an observation. Could be totally off, but it just, as I watch it, it comes to mind. Earlier this year, the Kings had all the drama about the coach, and it seemed to be dragging them down. Is coach going to get fired? Team's playing poorly. They changed coaches, and there was a lift there. There was some relief, like, we got that dark cloud is gone now. Then there was a drama over De'Aaron Fox. He's going to get traded. When's he going to get traded? What are we going to get for him? And it seemed to bring the team down. And then they made the trade. And then initially, there was a lift. There was a relief there. Now it seems to me with all the uncertainty swirling around the front office, that there's more uncertainty. Who's the GM going to be? Is Monty coming back? If not Monty, who's it going to be? And is Doug going to be the coach? Well, it depends on who the GM is or who's running the show. Is the GM even going to run the show? And it seems like maybe that is dragging guys down. That's probably a little oversimplified because it has more to do with your execution on the court, but it just does seem like there's been so much drama this year. And every time the storm clouds come and then they blow away, here comes another storm front, Jay, as we wonder down the stretch, not only whether the Kings will find their way into the play-in and maybe the playoffs, but who is going to be running this in the offseason?
Yeah, it's definitely a soap opera.
Yes.
This year for the Sacramento Kings has been a soap opera. You could pretty much sit down at 11 o'clock, turn on any local channel that you possibly want. You're going to get, All My Children. You're going to get General Hospital. This has definitely been a soap opera-ish type season for the Sacramento Kings. And you touched on a few things. And that's not even talking about the assistant coaching leaving. Right. So many different avenues, trades. Right. Kevin Herter coming back, talk about, this was absolutely a revenge game. This has definitely been something straight out of as they say, a comic book, so to say it. I definitely believe that has something to do with the way this team has played throughout this season, because just as one move happens, they try to fight back from that move. A secondary move happens. Right. And then as soon as they just feel like they're just bringing their head above water, here goes another move that happens.
The boat springs another major leak.
Yes. So this is definitely one of those anomaly seasons for an NBA team. I'm not going to say for the Sacramento Kings, because it feels like something's always going on with the Sacramento Kings, but it just they haven't been able to steady the boat. Yeah. The boat has definitely been rocking, and
you find calm waters, and then next, look out.
Yeah.
There's comes a storm coming.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Another one.
It definitely is one of those things. And you're probably not on a cruiser. You're probably on a pontoon.
Yes, definitely. One of those paddle boats. Like, the paddle's not working. We're sinking. I'll tell you another thing. Speaking of the drama. Yeah. I get tired of every other game. There's some revenge factor. It's like, it's the Halliburton game. Ooh. Oh, they're playing Dallas. Oh, well, not Dallas anymore. Right. Because Luke is gone. But, every time you play Denver, Michael Malone. There's with so many teams that the Kings play, why is there so much swirling drama? Every time they play the Spurs now, they're playing De'Aaron again. Every time, and I know Alan was talking about this yesterday, CJ McCollum has an axe to grind. Every other game for the Kings, there's some sort of, because of what the Kings did once, trading this guy or firing that guy, this is a revenge game. The Bulls, Kevin Herter's on the Bulls. I'm tired of it, Jay. This team hasn't accomplished enough to have all this drama swirling around.
It's a soap opera. I told you, man. And sometimes it's not. It organically creates itself, and then sometimes it's pressed into action. Yeah. And a lot of what the Sacramento Kings issues are definitely have been self-inflicted. No doubt about that over the years of, like you said, the Mike Malone, different trades, not picking up CJ McCollum, things of that nature, where I'm pretty sure it happens throughout the league, but it's just a little more pronounced here in Sacramento because I think we're closer to the team and we're closer to the city than, the Wizards or the Clippers or things like that. But I will say this. There has to be, and this is something that I think I'm going to start to drive and talk about, and I know we will all talk about it. When you have an inkling of, and I don't mean to be, gloomy, but when you have an inkling of cancer, one of the best things you can do is get rid of all of it. Yeah. And not the best thing. It is the best thing you can do.
It's a good idea.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because it's going to spread. It's going to grow more times than not. No type of form having. Of course, you are a survivor. And so one of the things I say is this team, this organization, they're going to have a long look into the mirror. And that means from top to the bottom.
They need a checkup.
Yeah, they do. They definitely do.
They need every orifice examined.
Absolutely. And I'm not just talking about, as you said, on the surface. Yeah, we it's time to get that 45-year-old, 50-year-old checkup. You know what I mean? It's time to bend over. And so this is the thing with the Kings. We have to be honest as Kings fans, as the Kings Kingdom. As much as we have to be honest, the organization has to. Mm-hmm. And too many times we find ourselves every single year talking about these things. And I don't know, one of these years, someone has to look into the mirror and say, we're not getting it done. We really are not. And taking the conversation of what we just talked about, we can't continuously be repetitive. We can't continuously
make the same mistakes.
There you go.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. Why do the Kings refuse to play to their strengths? We'll look at that when we come right back. Jay and Waitay today. Drive Guys, Sacktown Sports.
Bonneville International Radio Station contests are open to participants at least 18 years of age and older that are residents of California and who reside in one of the 6 counties that make up the Sacramento metro area, unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest are not eligible to win, unless the station otherwise specifies in its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 30 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. For a copy of the general contest rules, visit KHTK.com.
All guests and callers join us from the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Big savings are back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. New Hondas are piling up, and that means big savings for you.
Looking to own or lease? During the spring sales event, drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our number one priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Folsom Lake Honda. Yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
Live and local, it's The Drive Guys. Watch the show on youtube.com/SacktownSports1140.
Or listen on the Sacktown Sports app.
Yeah, why do the Kings seem down the stretch of games to play away from their strengths? We'll see if we can figure that out just a moment. Jay and Waitay today. Jay, I got to tell you a story, but bear with me here. You're not going to like it at first, but I think you'll be okay with it. You were just talking about sometimes when you go to the doctor and, they do things that you don't like them to do, right? I mean, we all know what you're talking about. Yeah. So yesterday I went to the doctor. He said, all right, we're going to do a checkup. So I'm in there and I'm sitting down, and you know what I'm thinking, like dreading from the jump, just dreading it. I'm already working as I'm talking to him. How are you? I'm doing good. I'm doing it. You exercising? Yeah. I'm thinking, you just gotta roll.
It's coming.
Yeah. So he's like, all right, get up here on the table. Okay. And he puts stethoscope on, breathe in. Yeah. Deep breath, deep breath, deep breath. He goes, all right, get your blood work. We'll see you. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me.
He let you out?
Yes.
Come on, baby.
I was so happy.
Oh man, that you talking about real joy?
Yeah,
that's real joy right there, sir.
I almost gave him a big hug, but I didn't know what would happen. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot something.
Yeah.
So
get out while you can.
Yes.
You ain't lying.
Yeah.
Man, congratulations.
I was out of his office before he even finised the sentence. Well, I guess that's it. Where'd you go? So
no paperwork was needed. I'll look it up online. I'll see the after visit summary.
I go to WebMD. Thanks, Doc. You're the best. Yeah. Oh, that was a happy day. Why do the Kings refuse to play to their strengths down the stretch of games? Domas is a good passer, right? Isn't he? I mean, I think he's not Jokic. He's not Magic Johnson, but he's a good passer. Last night he had a total of 0 assists. No assists. What else do we have? Zach LaVine likes playing at pace. We know that because last week when he played so well in the win over Portland, he said, finally, we started playing at pace. So how come when the game's on the line in the fourth quarter, you go to DeMar DeRozan ISO and everything slows down? He's one of your best players, Zach LaVine, if not your best player. So why do you slow it down with the game on the line instead of playing to his strengths? Excellent game from Keegan, right? Some people may disagree because he didn't score 20 points. He had 12 points on 11 shots, 2 of 5 on threes, made some great defensive plays. I thought he had an excellent game. In the fourth quarter, he took 1 shot. And I don't know that Domas took any shots in the fourth quarter. I have to look that up. So is that true? Yeah. He took 2 in the fourth quarter. Yeah. So it's just curious how they can play away from their strengths. How do you expect to win a game when the game's on the line and you go away from the things that your team does well? It's a little mystifying, and it seems to be a lot of it is DeMar DeRozan takes over games, and he's got a reputation for taking over games in the fourth quarter, and he's good at that. But that doesn't mean that's the only thing they should be doing in the fourth quarter down the stretch of games. Last night, maybe this is just coincidence, and maybe it had to do with the way maybe Indiana's defense let up a little bit. But once the game was decided and the Kings just scrambled down court and they needed threes, they started actually hitting shots, and they made it somewhat close, and they hung in the game. So it's just kind of mystifying. Some of that is coaching, but it's difficult when you've got a guy who hasn't been a head coach before, and you've got an ownership favorite who's running the show. It's just hard to figure out why the Kings continue to make the same mistakes over and over and over.
Yeah, don't hurt yourself, Whitey. I mean, there's really no answer. And as much as you can try and figure it out, you can try to determine, well, maybe they're doing this or maybe they're doing that. There's really no answer. I believe if there was an answer, we'd see it.
I think a lot of it is there is a void now. because they haven't been together. They haven't had time
that's part of
as a team to go through these things.
Sure.
This is what we're doing in this situation. So you've got a guy who's had success with it, and he takes it upon himself to, all right, I've got it. And he has had some success there. But then the team gets away from other things. So it's just they're just at cross purposes. I do not think that it's DeMar DeRozan saying, well, I'm going to get mine. I know there's a lot of fans who accuse him of being selfish. Doug has said over and over. He doesn't mention DeMar by name, but he says, down the stretch, I don't think anybody's selfish. DeMar DeRozan's trying to win the game. But it's ironic because one of the reasons they got him is last year, the offense would stagnate when they weren't making threes and they needed that counter. Now DeMar DeRozan is supposed to be the counter, but they don't have a counter to him when that's not working.
Yeah, I'll say it. I'll repeat it. Being repetitive is what this team's issue is down the fourth quarter. No matter how we want to slice the pie, cut the pizza, it's the same thing we've been talking about over the last month and a half. When it's a close game, there's an issue with the stagnation of the offense. In the beginning, and we've talked about this, a lot of times in the beginning of the game, the first quarter, the team seems to lose the game because they start out the gate slow. These are the two issues that the Sacramento Kings more or less have been facing over the last 2 or 3 months of the season. I truly don't know the answer. Yeah. I'll be honest. I'm tired of trying to figure out trying to figure it out. If the team can't figure it out, if the staff can't figure it out, as them complete as total as together can't figure it out, then I don't have the answer. One of the issues with this team definitely stems from the fact that they're just, they haven't had the opportunity and time to gel. It sounds like a cop-out. It sounds like an excuse, but it's real. You need time to gel. You need time to know who you're playing with, where they like the ball, and it takes experience. But I'm also on the standpoint because some fans are going to say this. Well, they're getting experience every single day being together, and that's true. But some people get it in a shorter time. Some people get it in a longer time. This team just hasn't put it together. They haven't glued. They haven't been able to come together and move forward in some of the some of the problem areas that this team is facing. The first quarter, more or less, and the fourth quarter. In between, they're okay.
Yeah. The other problem with that, Jay, you're right. They're getting experience down the stretch of these games. They have been playing close games, but they're not winning them.
No.
So they're not actually, until you learn from it and try something different, you're not actually benefiting from it.
True.
It just becomes actually demoralizing. It's like I don't know if the players think this. Hopefully they don't. But, as fans, when it starts snowballing, fans are going, I'm thinking, they're going to lose this game. Because you're trained you're conditioned, having seen it over and over and over. So that's why at some point something has to change here. The other thing is,
well, naturally, and not to cut you off, naturally, organically, it's going to change in 2 weeks.
You mean they're going to be done?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Naturally and organically,
right?
This will change in 2 weeks.
Yes.
And we will get certain answers, and we will get certain movements that allegedly, we hope, helps moving forward in the future. That's the thing. Like if we're keeping it 1,000, this team is not going to win a championship in the way they're playing at the moment. So the best that we possibly can wish for, hopefully, is getting into the top 8, the playoffs.
Yeah.
And then from there, it's just it's a crapshoot. We'll figure it out. We'll have discussions day by day, hour by hour when it comes to that. But if we're looking at the big ball, the whole kid and caboodle, the fact of the matter is some of the answers that we're looking for won't happen until this season is completely over.
Well, here's potentially one of the answers. I don't think it is, but as you say, we get tired of just trying to find the answer over and over and over. One of the things you got to think about is this team just not good enough? And certainly there are limitations there, but I don't think this is a bad team. It may not be a good team.
No, they're not.
And I do think when you repeatedly squander games, some of those you should win. So yeah, like you said, this isn't a 50-win team, but their record should be better than 36-39. So why isn't it? That's the trouble.
But see, I go back to because this isn't the team that we seen 2 weeks ago. This isn't a team we seen 2 months ago. Yeah, this isn't a team we seen 4 months ago.
This is like team 4 of this year or something like that.
So we don't know. We're looking at this team as if we're looking at this team in the beginning of the season. This team has completely changed. as Coach Christie has said, this is the 4th or 5th iteration of this team.
Right.
So when we're talking about this team, let's talk within the last 3 weeks about this team. Compared to, we're still talking about, well, in the beginning of the season, this team, and then when Coach Brown, this team, and then when Coach Christie went on the 10-2 run, this team, then De'Aaron Fox, this team, now Zach LaVine, this team. We don't know. This team has been changed 5 times.
Do you think there's time, including the time we've already seen here in this season with this team? Is there time to draw any conclusions, no matter how they finish? Do you think there's enough time? What is there? 7 games left? Is that enough based on, and including what we've already seen, to be able in the offseason, no matter what they end up doing, to say, okay, we know this works or doesn't work?
Well,
I'm not sure there is.
I'm with you, but unfortunately, that's just not the way the league operates.
But you have to make decisions in the offseason.
Exactly.
So you have to either make assumptions or you have to decide, this can work or it can't work.
Yeah, and I believe you're going to look at the whole season in its entirety. And for me, that's unfortunate. And I don't want to say unfair, because they're professionals. And that's just the way the cookie crumbles. But if we're just talking about the way Malik Monk being the point guard, Zach LaVine being the 2, DeMar, Jonas being the backup, sometime being the starter, there's so many iterations of this squad, and injuries happen everywhere. We just saw Zion be shut down. We know Dallas has went through things. We know LeBron hasn't played. We know Ja Morant's, injuries happen. I understand that. And unfortunately, that's not the way the NBA works. And then unfortunately, if you're not the person or the team or the organization holding the trophy at the end, you probably feel you need to make some moves and or adjustments. And so I think this team is definitely going to make some adjustments. I would say on the surface, absolutely. Damn right you need to make some adjustments.
Yeah.
But I also am being realistic in the form of, when you started this season, this team now is completely different. And just what you said, I don't believe we're going to have the proper time to really dissect how this team, meaning the 5th iteration of this season, has played. And, if they're able to flip a switch or play better next year, they're going to make moves. So it doesn't really matter.
Right. And we don't even know who's going to be making that call.
Truth.
There's been, unconfirmed scuttlebutt that the Kings are talking to this guy about running things at this guy or this guy. Some of the names you could probably guess, but we could see the whole thing change. We could see another architect. Or is it going to be the same people running things with just a GM as the face when it's really ownership running things? We don't know yet.
Yeah.
And so there's just a lot of uncertainty right now. It'd be nice if the team just started to playing up to their potential a little bit here down the stretch. Still possible. And the next 2 games should look good, right? When we come back, A's made the wrong kind of history in their Sacktown debut last night. Next on Sacktown Sports.
Visit SacktownSports.com and join the Sacktown Sports 1140 newsletter.
Spring is here, and that means gigantic savings for all your oil change needs at Jiffy Lube today. Get a $25 gift card with the purchase of any Pennzoil Platinum full synthetic oil change through May 31st at your local Jiffy Lube service center in the greater Sacramento areas. And don't forget about the additional $30 off online coupon at jiffylube.com. Terms apply. Valid email address required. See pennzoil.com/rewards for details. Jiffy Lube, a huge spring savings for you today.
Sacramento's premier country music festival, Country in the Park, is coming back May 16th and 17th at Cal Expo with Bailey Zimmerman, Billy Currington, Cole Wetzel, Nate Smith, and more. You'll enjoy food trucks, rock walls, and a mechanical bull, line dancing, and more. Single-day GA tickets start at $52 at CITPFest.com. Country in the Park, May 16th and 17th with Paul Mitchell, The School, Sacramento, and Stoney's Rockin' Rodeo. Find out more at CITPFest.com.
It's a myth to think you don't play golf well enough to get fitted for golf clubs. The professionals at the Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio would argue that playing the game with golf clubs properly fitted to your body and swing characteristics is the best way to improve your game and have more fun on the golf course. With a professional staff of fitters, all the major brands of equipment, and cutting-edge technology featuring TrackMan, the indoor-outdoor Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio is worth a look. See for yourself. Fulton Avenue at the Cap City Freeway. Schedule your fitting at 916-808-2531. 808-2531.
Spring is in the air, and there's really nothing better than hitting the open road in a new Honda. Whether you're shopping for new or pre-owned, Stockton Honda has the selection and savings. Plus, get top dollar for your trade. And while life's roads are often filled with bumps, buying from Stockton Honda couldn't be smoother. Wherever the road you travel might lead, Stockton Honda is happy to get you there. Come in today or go to StocktonHonda.com.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
With Progressive's collision coverage, my family gets up to $1,000 for vet bills if I'm injured in a car accident. And that makes this Chihuahua really feel like part of the family. What's that? I don't sound like a Chihuahua? Oh, I'm sorry. What exactly am I supposed to sound like? I guess all Chihuahuas are high-strung, riding around in expensive designer purses. Actually, I prefer riding in cars. So I appreciate that my family protects me with Progressive's pet collision coverage. Okay, maybe I am a little high-strung. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states. Coverage for dogs and cats is included with the purchase of collision coverage and is subject to policy terms.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
It's Carmichael Dave talking to you about my good friends at American Energy. You're in the Sacramento area. You know how the seasons work. They are a-changing right now. So American Energy wants to help you stay warm for the rest of the cold season, but help you stay cool during the warm season. Best way to do that, make sure your system is operating safely. So right now is the time to take advantage of half off a tune-up, $24.50. They cut that right in half. And if you want a diagnostic, guess what? You can't beat free. If it's free, it's me. And now it can be you. And also, it's the end of the season blowout. $4,000 off a new system plus any rebates. That $4,000, that's a direct drop from the sticker price. It's a great deal. Check them out at theaeway.com for an instant quote or give them a call at 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990. Tell them your good buddy Carmichael Dave sent you.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Drive Guys, live and local, every afternoon, Monday through Friday on Sacktown Sports.
One of the things with the Kings is when you have so much uncertainty, it breeds speculation. I just saw from somebody on Twitter, I apologize, I forgot who posted this exactly. Now people are wondering, hey, you know, Vlade was the GM when they signed Zach LaVine to that offer sheet, and we know that Vlade's been hanging around, so was Vlade influential in them getting Zach LaVine at the trade deadline? I don't know, but it's that kind of speculation. It'd be nice if there was some clarity here as far as, no, person A, whoever it is, this is the person running the show. Hopefully we'll get that sooner rather than later.
Who does that, though? Like, what organization comes out and hears that?
Sometimes know. Like, there's no question in OKC. You know, Sam Presti's running the show. And everybody's on the same page.
Allegedly.
The good organizations... people are, for the most part, on the same page. And it's good. Yeah, obviously you have dialogue. But here, I don't know that we have that. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. TC has been hanging on. What's up, TC? How are you?
Yes, sir. What's up, bros? I'm all right, man. What's up, man? Mike check.
It's time for check in with TC. Fire away, TC.
Hey, look, so it's real simple, right? And I love Doug, right? But what I want to see from Doug, I know I heard what Jay was saying. Like, sometimes it's too late, you know, to make wholesale changes or whatever. But what I want to see from Doug, I believe Doug's the coach moving forward and so on, right? But what I want to see from Doug is, right, when these dudes keep getting out of line at the end of these games, DeRozan, like, I seem like we keep want to pick on DeRozan, but he's not a fit, bro. He's the guy that needs to be moved on, right? We can start talking about Zach LaVine or whatever, bro, but we see why it didn't fit. It's not fitting here, Zach. I was one of the first dudes to go to bat for DeRozan and say, hey, Kings fans, y'all tripping. Man, we got a Hall of Famer. He is a Hall of Famer, bro, but that doesn't mean that he has to keep doing what he's doing, dog. So Doug has to make those decisions with anybody. Like, if you're not shooting the ball, bro, you're benched. If you want to keep shooting the ball, you're benched. So as a coach, you have to make those hard decisions. I know you don't want to ruffle feathers, right? Like how Mike, I don't want to bring up Mike, right? But how Mike, hey, you know what? If you don't do it this way, you're on the bench, dog. Simple as that. You got to do it my way. Well, Doug, it can be that way on the reverse too. Like, hey, I'm letting the Hall of Famers getting away with a lot, but I'm getting on the other dudes, and I don't want to say too much to this guy because he's a Hall of Famer and I got a lot of respect for him. Like, no, bro, those are difficult decisions that a coach has to make. This has nothing to do with Doug. I love Doug to death, and I believe he wants to be the coach. But when it comes to those hard decisions, Dougie, I need you to make those, coach. That's all I got, y'all.
Hey, TC, hold on a minute if you could, because this is stunning. So TC is now not on board with DeMar DeRozan? That's like TC all of a sudden being pro Shanahan. This is shocking.
Bro, I was one of the biggest dudes because everybody was, DeRozan, it's not going to work. Who got this guy? He's a ball stopper. No, man, this guy's a Hall of Famer. This is what you need. You need that in the playoffs, dog. But it's not a fit with our team, Whitey.
Okay.
You see it. My eyes tell me, I don't care about the analytics. My eyes tell me the truth. The team does not flow when this guy has the ball in his hand. When the ball's not popping, it's not none of that. Now, when he scored 14 in the fourth quarter, that's all fine and dandy. But that's not going to be every game, bro. We can't move forward with DeRozan, dog.
All right. Thank you,
That's all I
TC.
got,
No, I appreciate that. It's just, that's kind of surprising, Jay. I'm not disagreeing with what he's saying. I'm just saying, wow, for TC to jump ship. Things have changed around here.
Well, losing causes some things to be reshuffled around.
Yeah, you start to see things a little differently, huh? Yeah. How about Javi? Let's see what Javier has here. Sacktown Sports. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Javi, what's up?
How you doing today, Mr. Gleason, Mr. J?
Good. How are you?
Been trying to call for the. I've been better. I'm gonna be honest. I've been trying to call for like last week, and then pessimism isn't always the best radio call. But I'm gonna be honest. Mr. Carmichael Dave had said it best. If you listen back last week, none of this is gonna matter until there's a change at the very top. I mean, we talk about the Kings. You talk about the ownership and selling the team. This is all at the head. 2 years ago, we were the darlings of the NBA. Looking back 2 months ago from today, this was the only trade chip we had in De'Aaron Fox that could have got us to reset and or get pieces. Now we're stuck with the second worst contract in the NBA outside of Bradley Beal. We have no draft selections that we can look forward to this season because we're probably going to be the 10th seed. Not bad enough to get our pick back, but not good enough to compete to even win a game in the playoffs. Better yet, to play in. And our owners at the Sacramento Athletics game celebrating the game yesterday, but we're sitting here losing our assistant GM, losing our head assistant. Doug Christie's about to be another lame duck, another sacrificial lamb. And we're all just saying, hey, what if they reshuffle everything in the offseason? We've seen this story time and time again. Unanimous coach of the year fired for a bad 30-game start, and we think somehow we're just going to bring in the right GM and the right coach this time around. This is systemic from the top. Until this radio station, like Mr. Carmichael Day states, learns that the team needs to be sold, or this is going to be just a what window are we in now? This is a rerun. And I don't mean to be negative about DeMar DeRozan, about Zach LaVine, about Domantas Sabonis. It doesn't even matter. De'Aaron Fox didn't want to be here for a reason. It wasn't just because he wanted to go to San Antonio because his family and his wife's from there. He said, dog, I'm tired of the instability, this circus, this clown show must point. I'm tired of this nonsense. He was our guy, the guy that didn't even talk about anything about having any type of dismay.
Got you,
Javi. Said, dog, I'm good.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Going to a horrible team instead of playing for this anymore.
Thank you for making those points. I will say this. I think more people are aware of what you're saying. More people share that view than perhaps ever have before around here. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how the organization deals with that this offseason. They're not going to sell the team. And I would also quibble with you. I understand your larger point, but nothing matters. I mean, I'm a fan. The games matter right now. And I'm not saying I'm not, putting the blindfolds on. I'm not putting my head in the sand. These games matter because they're fun. I want to see what they do.
Sure.
But your larger point, I do think there's going to be some things that the organization is going to have to address this offseason. Many of the things that you talked about, just the systemic and constant instability, and having come from where you were in Beam Team 1 to now in such a short time, the organization, I think, has to address those things, or you're going to start losing customers.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times I've mentioned, I think the organization needs to make this statement, that statement. And Drapes has said, you don't have to do that. But you do if you get to a point where your customers start to say, I'm not sure.
True.
So, and I think if we're not there this offseason, we're very, very close to it. So I think the organization is going to have to address some of those things.
Yeah, I mimic pretty much most of what you said. I will say this. I haven't heard any inkling. I haven't been told by anyone, and maybe Dave has information, and I don't think Javier is also setting up Dave saying that, you know, the ownership is going to sell. I don't see why this ownership would sell. Why are you getting rid of something that you work so hard to obtain?
I think Dave is just not saying, I heard they will, or the rumors. He's just saying they need to. Well, they're not gonna.
As a fan. And I think, it's not happening. And so it's kind of a catch-22. And it's also the same thing that I've said this past week is there is and you said it, when you're looking at the Kings in an entirety, there's definitely some questions that need to be answered.
Mm-hmm.
If we're looking at it in a small microscope of what's going on right now, those are two different conversations. And of course, they blur the line here and there. There is some gray area because they're 2-1, 1-2. You definitely need to know as a entire organization what is the next move. And as you said, systematically, they need to figure out the inconsistencies of what's going on with this team.
Yeah.
But also that matters in the same point. And when we're talking about last night's game, you know, the inconsistencies of this team.
There is, I think, a trickle down effect.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Should be answered as well when it comes to playing on the floor and losing games repetitively in the same way.
Mm-hmm.
And so I get why fans cross the line. I think I understand why Dave kind of crosses the line. And then when you really take a step back and look at it from a bird's eye view, when you've been a fan as long as Javier, when you've been a fan as long as TC, when you've been a fan as long as Dave are, and you put your heart, you put your soul, put your mind, you put your money where your mouth is, absolutely, you're going to be frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm there. I get it. I understand it. But we also have to talk about what goes on a day-to-day basis as well. There are answers that need to be answered, or there are questions that need to be answered when it comes to the whole entirety of this organization. No doubt about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then there are answers that need to be answered. Questions that need to be answered on a game-to-game basis as well.
Yeah. One of the frustrating things about this year is that we talk a lot in sports about culture. Sometimes we don't even know what we're talking about. Oh, culture. They have good culture.
Yeah.
Culture, bottom line, and it started from businesses. You know, this business has a good culture. It focuses on everyone from the very top all the way down the chains to everyone being on the same page and knowing what the common goals are and focusing on that. And the best organizations in sports have done that. Bill Walsh was, by my understanding, he was the first one to say the 49ers need to have this culture where everybody, from ownership all the way down to, people answering phones, everybody understands what we're about. Teams in the NBA, the best teams have that for the most part. That doesn't mean there isn't room for disagreement, but everybody ends up working in the same direction, pulling in the same direction. And the Kings, it looked like they had that. Maybe Mike Brown got more credit for that than he should have gotten, but he deserves a lot of credit for it. It's like, all right, we know what the Kings stand for now. And just, less than 2 full seasons later, it's going on all different directions. If nothing else, I hope somebody learns that lesson, like, okay, that's why it's important to have everybody lined up and maybe not disagreeing, but working for the same things and towards the same objective. And I think that's one thing they have to reestablish as an organization, in my opinion, as a basketball organization this offseason.
Yeah, I think you're cooking on something. I will say this, and I propose this question, 916-339-1140, Whitey. This team, to the best of anybody's knowledge, is not being sold by the current ownership.
No, that's not even no.
I haven't. There's not even.
I wouldn't. If I were around the DVs, I wouldn't sell it.
Yeah, who would?
Yeah,
why not?
Yeah.
There's so that's out. Let's just say that's completely out.
Yes.
As a fan, what else are you looking for? Because just yelling, sell the team is not going to happen. Selling the team is not happening.
Against the wall.
Right. So let's hypothesize here. Let's take a highly educated guess. If the team is not being sold, which we know, so let's put that out to the left. It's thrown out with the baby water, right? Bath water. What else are you looking for? And that's where I think you're spot on in the form of there are some systematic questions that need to be answered, and not only answered, they need to start to be put into action, right? Things need to be acted upon. So that's what I'm asking from Kings fans, because what we're going to get is frustration. What we're getting is frustration. And I totally get it. I'm frustrated with you. So I'm not blaming you, but I'm also saying, beside the fact of yelling, sell the team. You're talking to an Oakland A's fan. Yes. I've been screaming that for many moons. Right. Guess what? The team ain't been sold, and it ain't being sold anytime soon right now.
Nope.
So what am I supposed to do beside hope, pray, wish, whatever we're trying to do, that we get lucky, catch lightning in a bottle? I'm asking Kings fans, what do you want? The team's not being sold, so what else do you want?
As Jay said, he's an A's fan. We'll look at how the A's did last night and how they made the wrong kind of history upon their debut in Sacramento. That's next with the Drive Guys on Sacktown Sports.
Progressive knows when you're on your boat, you're already on vacation. And Vacation You forgets all your worries. Vacation You doesn't even keep track of time and knows that time is a meaningless construct designed to control us, man. But Regular You knows you don't want to be too far out in the water after the sun goes down, because Vacation You doesn't know how to navigate in the dark yet. Vacation You and Regular You really need to get on the same page. So bundle your boat with your home or auto policy and earn an automatic discount from Progressive. And spend the savings on the both of you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Spring cleaning isn't just for clutter. Let Benjamin Franklin Plumbing take care of your appliances. From water heater replacement or repair to advanced water filtration installation, Benjamin Franklin Plumbing is here to provide a worry-free summer for you and your family. Visit BenjaminFranklinPlumbing.com to schedule. You can count on the punctual plumbers, where your comfort and safety come first. Book now. Visit BenjaminFranklinPlumbing.com.
With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, and advanced fiber solutions, Comcast Business is powering the engine of modern business.
Switch today and ask how to get a $500 prepaid card on a qualifying gig speed package. Offer ends 4/21/25. New customers only with a 2-year agreement. Other restrictions apply.
With Progressive, renters can save on protection for the things that make your place yours, even things that don't make sense to everyone.
People always wonder why I don't get rid of my guitar since I never play. But it's like, what if I actually end up taking lessons? Sure, I've had it for 8 years, but if I get rid of it, then what will my New Year's resolution be next January?
Exactly. So bundle your renters and auto and save with Progressive and protect the things that make sense to you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates and other insurers not available in all states or situations, covered subject to policy terms and conditions.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6580. That's 800-583-6580.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Sacktown Sports.
Real quick, I mentioned the A's. We'll get right back to the Kings. Jay asked a really good question. We already have some good answers to it. But I mentioned the A's, and I just want to follow up on that. Yeah, the A's made the wrong kind of history in their debut last night. 18 runs allowed, most in a home opener in A's history. Kansas City A's, Philadelphia A's, Oakland A's. No A's team had ever given up 18 runs in a home opener before. 18 runs allowed in the home opener is the most in Major League history since 1925, when the St. Louis Browns gave up 21 versus Cleveland.
You know, I saw that stat yesterday, and I was hoping that you wouldn't be the research person that you are. And the
That's
researcher.
stunning.
Yeah.
I think that was Josh Dubow from AP. I think he's the one.
Yeah, see what he did put that on there.
Yeah. Wow, Jay.
Yeah, it was a tough night. You know, a tough night. Just couldn't get it done. And Ramsey makes a great point sitting behind me.
He was there last night, right?
Yeah, he was in the building.
I think he pitched. I think the A's had a Ramsey pitch the 8th inning.
One of the things.
He only gave up 2 home runs.
We really haven't broken anything down with the team. You know, the team isn't really expected to do much. I know there are some people who are excited, think they can reach about 75 games, and I'm like, that's wishful thinking. But this team offensively is going to be fantastic. Coming into this season, I just didn't see it in the bullpen. You know, I know a lot of people were excited for a couple of the youngsters coming out the year to start. Severino looked good and didn't give up no runs.
He pitches tonight.
Yeah, but this team they're flawed just as much as we're talking about the Sacramento Kings. This team is flawed. When you go to the ballpark, I just say you're going to catch a major league product.
Right.
And a lot of times, and I've done this throughout the years, and, you know, Sacramento King fans can definitely attest to this. Sometimes you go to the ballpark for the other squad. Just take it all in. When you go out there to watch the A's this year, if you happen to go in and catch a W, and I know, but look, I'm not trying to, you know, be the pity party, but the fact of the matter is this team's not going to win a championship. Yeah. So they'll be okay. They'll be average.
I think the second home run the Cubs hit in the first inning, poor Joey Estes, I'm not pounding on the guy because he's a major league starter and he's battling, but it was like a 92-mile-an-hour fastball right down the middle. You know, in the major leagues, that's like a late model Tim Lincecum fastball right down the middle, Jay. You're just not going to get away with that. And he knows it, but it's like, well, that's just going to happen. And plus the wind was blowing out.
Yeah. One of the things that any big leaguer is going to do is hit something straight and fast.
Right.
Straight and hard.
Middle,
No one has a problem doing that. Believe me.
Yeah.
Because you don't make it to the big leagues not hitting something straight and hard.
Yeah.
That's just not it is. Pause too. But yeah, you just don't do it.
Yeah. Yeah. And then he battled through 4 and they tried to leave him out there, get through the 5th, and wasn't happening. But that's baseball too. You have nights like that.
Of course.
Just the A's had never had one like that on opening night before at home. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Jay asked the question, as a Kings fan, what would you like to see with all these questions about who's running the show? And here's 2 people that I think have a great answer, Jay, in the chat. Farmer Bleasy 22, I think Kings fans want ownership to come out and say, I do not and will not make basketball decisions that affect the product on the court. Campy says Kings fans want Vivek to own the franchise, step back, and let basketball minds run the team. Vivek does very well in his tech business. Wouldn't want basketball minds making decisions in his tech business.
The only thing I say is this, is I don't know. Draper's not here. I'm not sure even if he knows. I understand a lot of people, there are whispers in the fact that Vivek crosses over the line sometime and jumps in on basketball decisions. But believe me, other owners do too.
Mm-hmm.
They do. Believe me, they do.
Mm-hmm.
The difference of the
guy in Phoenix certainly does.
The other part of it comes is how do we know wholeheartedly 100%? And I'm not saying because I don't know. I'm asking. I'm continuously asking these questions. To the best of my knowledge, I don't know what Vivek does when it comes to basketball ops.
Mm-hmm.
I think we allegedly feel or allegedly know that he meddle's not the right word, but he has a say-so in certain things that comes with basketball operations. But believe me, and let me say this, Campy, Farmer Bleasy, Kings fans, if you're writing the check, don't you at least want somebody to come tap in and check with you? Now, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
All I can do is talk about what I know. And I'll challenge anybody. Show me where they know Vivek is meddling, besides the fact of, and I'm not disrespecting an NBA insider, so I'm not going to throw a name out there. Besides the fact of saying, well, he's a favorite of Vivek. So Vivek likes him. What else is there? I guess what I'm trying to figure out is
why people can make that assumption.
Yes.
There have been things that have been written about that of late that we don't need to get into.
Sure.
But there are it's been reported that there are some people that are not necessarily in basketball operations that are having influence on the basketball decisions. So, okay, maybe that's not true. But if it's true, that's what fans want. You say, what do fans want?
Yeah.
They want to make sure that doesn't happen. Maybe
So
it's
then-
not happening,
so then
but that's what fans want.
So then we're all good, and I'm just checking. I'm not speaking for everybody. I'm just
Yeah.
saying. I think it was Campy that said we want the ownership to come out and say, you know what, I ain't got nothing to do with this. But if they continue to keep on doing it, then if we're believing they're doing it, and again, I don't know. I have no clue. Do I have my assumptions? Yeah, absolutely. I'm not going to run from my assumptions, so I don't need anybody to be like, well, Jay, you're not paying attention. I am. I'm just saying it. I'm just saying I don't know. I'm not in the room. Guess what I'm not going to do? Because in my life has been told to me, when you allege something happened and it don't, sometimes you get your ass in trouble. How about that? So what my point is I don't know because I'm not in the room. But I have some assumptions. Yeah, I do think he had, ownership has favorites. Do I think, yeah, they look at certain people like, yeah, let's go ahead and try to draft that person. Do I believe the ownership of the Sacramento Kings have had, some conversations when it comes to who we draft? Yeah, I do believe that. But I'm just saying, what besides the fact of the ownership coming out and say, you know what, I ain't got nothing to do with it. We gonna believe that by face value?
Well, your question, which is a fair one, is what do you want as a fan? And fans are just saying, that's what I want.
Okay.
Whether it's they want them not to, they want to make sure the basketball people are running basketball side of it. To your point, maybe that's not realistic in today's NBA, but you ask people, what do you want? That's what some fans want.
Absolutely. I'm still pushing back on some of it too. Just because I asked you the question don't mean I'm not going to rebuttal it.
339
and I expect to come back my way too.
1-800-920-1140. Trey's been hanging on. Trey, you're on with the Drive Guys. What's going on? Hello, Trey.
Drive Guys, man. What's going on, Jay and Whitey? What's happening?
You tell us what's happening.
Hey, look, I'm not about to be pessimistic. I'm just going to say this. Look, I'm with my man TC on DeRozan. I've seen this months ago. And, he doesn't fit, the offense ball down. That seems to disappear when he's on the floor. I think this was the same issue going on in Chicago. It's offensively, it's just always been an issue like the last couple months with this team. Then defensively, he don't give you much on the defensive end. So, I'm out on him. Now, I think like a lot of problems started a couple years ago with Monty McNair at the trade deadline when he didn't make it. P.J. Washington and Daniel Gafford was out there. I was, licking my chops. I'm like, oh, man, come on, man. We need one of these wing guys. Then he didn't do it, and then subsequently all this other stuff happened. Mike Brown get fired. De'Aaron Fox, I think that was a catalyst that started everything. And then what he tried to do is he tried to Frankenstein the lineup and then sell us with Zach LaVine. And, now we got DeMar DeRozan. And now it looks like as a fan, I think what we want from the top down is we just want some consistency. I think you need to start and get an identity this team wants to be. Not drafting 3 or 4 guards in a row with Fox and Halliburton and Mitchell. That's not where the league is going. We need good eyes to see where this league is going. Heavy on the wing players, get some athleticism in there. You know what I'm saying? And I think that we can turn it around. Hey, I'm out, man. I'm a die king, and I'm going to take my comments off the air.
Thank you, Trey. Yeah. I agree with you. I think that the Kings had opportunities to do some things, and we don't know what it would have cost to do that. They didn't do them, and they didn't upgrade. Like they still, I think, need wings. So that maybe is the biggest mistake they've made between, Beam Team 1 and now is that between Beam Team 1 and then that last year's team, they didn't really address some of the needs they have. And they still, like you say, DeMar DeRozan's a Hall of Famer. Zach LaVine could be, he may be, but do those guys really address their greatest needs? You could make a strong argument that they don't necessarily do that. So you're right. Then you end up with, I like the way you put it, Trey, kind of Frankenstein in a lineup together, stitching this onto that and seeing what you got.
Yeah. I'll take a step further. I 100% agree with what Trey is talking about when, the moves were made for, and he used PJ Washington and Gafford because Dallas made the moves and of course went to the finals. I'll say the following season, the Beam team offseason. I thought you could have made some moves.
Yeah,
did
that's what
something
I'm.
different.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
with
100%. Yeah, like I'm 100% with Trey, definitely. And depending on who you ask, there were moves to be made. I guess there weren't moves to be made. I truly believe you could have added, subtracted, and tried to get better after the Beam team, especially seeing how your team, finished.
Yep.
Yeah, 100%.
Yep. When we come back, more on the elephant in the room when it comes to the Kings' stagnant offense, pardon me. And Jed York had some interesting things to say about Brock Purdy's future as a 49er. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. We roll on. Drive, guys. Sacktown Sports.
Big savings are back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. New Hondas are piling up, and that means big savings for you.
Looking to own or lease? During the spring sales event, drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our number one priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Folsom Lake Honda. Your one-stop Honda shop.
As you know, life is full of ups and downs, and there are some things you want to go up and down. Not your favorite team, but certainly your garage door. When your garage door starts going up or down, but not both, it's time to call National Garage Door, 916-638-4554. Our old garage door had to be put down just before Christmas, so National Garage Door came out, took great care of us. Old door out, new one up in short order. The new door looks great, works great, sounds great, which comes as no surprise because National Garage Door has been around since 1974, and that's because service comes first. And if you need a garage door upgrade, which, by the way, can really boost your home's curb appeal, call National Garage Door. Find them on the web at nationalgaragedoor.com, 916-638. That's 916-638-4554. Commercial or residential repair or installation of a new door, National Garage Door has everything you need. 916-638-4554, National Garage Door.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million+ products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, huh?
My brother got life insurance from Ethos and it only took 10 minutes. And he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit ethos.com/sports. Ethos.com/sports.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
I love this time of year when the azaleas begin to bloom and the singing birds' sweet dawn chorus remind us that blue skies and sunshine are at hand. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. In sports, the definition for the word master is one who's achieved a high degree of skill, and that will be on display in the highly anticipated golf tournament. In the furniture business, a master is a highly skilled craftsman, an artist even, whose work is coveted by those who appreciate design, quality, and durability. John Keyes was the mastermind of Naturewood Home Furnishings. He knew that you wanted your home to reflect your personal style, whether that was a plain coffee table or a masterpiece for you to enjoy forever. That's why when you walk into Naturewood Home Furnishings, you'll find the largest and best selection of the highest quality home furnishings in Northern California. Masterful. Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
It's Carmichael Dave talking to you about my good friends at American Energy. You're in the Sacramento area. You know how the seasons work. They are a-changing right now. So American Energy wants to help you stay warm for the rest of the cold season, but help you stay cool during the warm season. Best way to do that, make sure your system is operating safely. So right now is the time to take advantage of half off a tune-up, $24.50. They cut that right in half, and if you want a diagnostic, guess what? You can't beat free. If it's free, it's me, and now it can be you. And also, it's the end of the season blowout. $4,000 off a new system plus any rebates. That $4,000, that's a direct drop from the sticker price. It's a great deal. Check them out at the aeway.com. or an instant quote, or give them a call at 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990. Tell them your good buddy Carmichael Dave sent you.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
KHD 1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Sacramento's official home of the 49ers.
San Francisco.
Sacktown Sports 1140. Live and local, it's the Drive Guys. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sacktown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sacktown Sports app.
Thanks for being with us today. We appreciate everybody listening. You know, this King season, it's almost in some ways starting to resemble, bear with me now, a train wreck. And I don't mean that in the sense of it's a disaster. What I mean is, you know, when you have in the, excuse me, the old time movies, a Western, train wreck, one car runs into the, it's like a chain reaction. And that's what this is. Yeah. That's what this season is starting to turn into, because you've got this season not going well just in and of itself, but then you've also got everything with the organization and the fact that the organization has gone through so much upheaval, and one is starting to run into the other, and it's all starting to combine and crash in such a way that now you're looking at this offseason going, woo, they got some things to clean up here. As much as I'll just speak for myself, I've been trying to focus as much as I can on this season and where this goes. And wouldn't it be nice if they get into the play-in and maybe even get out of the play-in and end up in the playoffs? But it's harder and harder to ignore the bigger picture here because things look a little bleak. You Trippin in the chat says,
Trippin.
Yeah. He says, Kings have had like 5 good seasons out of 40 they've been here. Fans are tired of losing. That's not far off. It's not that bad, but
who's tripping?
7.
We agree.
The Petrie's team, they had and Rick Adelman, those guys, 7 years in the playoffs. First year they were here, they were in the playoffs, although they had a losing record. 96 under Gary St. Jean with Mitch Richmond and the High Flyers.
Yeah,
they were in the playoffs. They did not have a winning record, but they're in the playoffs. That's 7, 8, 9, and then the Beam team. So it's 10 teams in 40 years, this being the 40th year of playoff basketball.
And guess what? You said this last week. As of right now, if they finish, prognosticating, this could be the 11th best season in 40 years of the Sacramento Kings.
Could only be the 11th team to make the playoffs.
Wild, man.
Yes,
that is wild.
Yes,
super wild.
So it hasn't been, and obviously
nobody tripping. We feel it.
Yeah, we can talk about what's going on. With this ownership, they had nothing to do with what happened.
No.
Through the 80s and the lean years in the 90s. But that speaks to why so many fans right now are disappointed, because of that long playoff drought. I think a lot of fans remembered when Rick Adelman came in and things took off. And that was a team that ultimately had a legitimate shot at an NBA title, as those of us who remember that know. And so I think people assumed, all right, things are on the upswing now. But here we are, just as I said, less than 2 full seasons later. And it's like, wow, they're backsliding. Everything's backsliding again. So that's why fans are really getting frustrated.
Yeah, as they should. Mm-hmm. They definitely should. Please don't
you've
understand
made it clear that you share
please.
the frustration.
Yeah, absolutely.
You've expressed that.
Yes. I don't want anybody I don't want to be misunderstood. Please. I'm as frustrated as you are. I'm just asking, what's the resolution when we know this organization? Because that's the easy thing. Just scream, sell the team, sell the team, sell the team. As again, you're talking to an Oakland A's fan. If there's anyone that's been screaming, sell the team, that would be me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Beyond that, knowing that this team is, without any information, this team is not being sold anytime soon. What are you looking for as a Kings fan? What is going to make it okay for you systematically, the end of this year, this offseason, going into the draft? What will make you jump back on the wagon and say, or the train wreck, get back in the caboose?
Mm-hmm.
What will make you jump into the caboose and say, you know what? Okay, I can see some positive movement. I can get back on the wagon. I like where we're going. That's what I'm asking. 916-339-1140. What is going to turn a negative into a positive for you as a Kings fan?
If there's a consensus so far, and I'm not sure there is, there may be. If there is, it's that fans feel they want basketball people making basketball decisions.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
That seems to be what I'm getting.
Don't disagree with that.
Yeah.
Don't disagree with that. I don't know how that happens. I don't know the dynamic between the Kings ownership and basketball ops good enough. You know, I've heard it, I've read it, I've talked to people, I have a decent understanding, I think, of how it happens, but I don't know it 100%, so I can't talk about it 100%. I can kind of give now. If you're asking me to give you my opinion, I can give you that, but I'm just asking, knowing that this is probably going to continue the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
What are we looking for as Kings fans?
Mm-hmm. As far as last night and the rest of this season, if I can focus on the micro again. Not ignoring everything else going on, but just looking at, because the games do matter. The Kings could really use a bounce back from a guy who's, he got sick, came back, played well, and he has struggled the last couple of games coming off the bench. Malik Monk last night was 2 for 14, and he still had 7 rebounds and 7 assists. I know it's not all about the numbers, but he did some good things last night. But that offensive punch that they rely on from Malik last couple of games, the Orlando game and then the game last night against Indiana, it's not there, Jay. They need Malik to bounce back. And I just hope it's not a matter of him having to make adjustments again to coming off the bench. I hope that's not affecting him. He also had 5 turnovers last night. Ugh. The thing about the Kings and the
fourth
turnovers.
Quarter,
yeah.
The fourth quarter was atrocious for Malik. He had to lay 3, to bring the team within 3 under the minute mark, 60-second mark. But
he only had that was one of only 2 field goals he had.
Yeah.
Doug made this point last night. If you just look at the turnovers, last night the Kings had 11 individual turnovers, 12 total turnovers. 12 turnovers is like that. You can certainly live with that. But off those 12 turnovers, they gave up 20 points. So there's a big difference between, I think Jay's going to the basket, he's spotting up, and I throw it to him and it goes out of bounds. That's a lot different than I throw a bad pass to Jay and the wing intercepts and goes the other way for a dunk. First one is like, all right, they get the ball out of bounds. It's bad, but when you basically set up the other team for a fast break opportunity with your turnover, that kills you, especially when you're not very good defensively as a team to begin with. And the live ball turnovers will kill this team. They are not capable of overcoming them.
Yeah, well, they've shown and proven that they're not capable.
Yeah.
Over the last handful of games, the tough part for me is to see Malik Monk struggle in certain areas that I thought Malik would be, would really change this team and the narrative and how they operate. He hasn't been playing his best ball. I know he's dealing with some illness last week for a long time, and that's not making an excuse.
Than he thought he was going to be.
Yeah. It sounds that way, but some of the turnovers he had last night, they were definitely difficult, definitely tough to watch. He hasn't been able to finish around the rim a lot of how, Malik kind of does that as well. It hasn't been a good couple of weeks for Malik, the last 2 or 3 weeks. And if you want to expand on that, I'll take a conversation and, over the last couple of months. But I like what Malik brings to this team. I think if you're moving him, and it may be that way for the last 8 games or so, if you're moving him towards coming off the bench, hopefully he can be a little more comfortable in that position and bring back what Malik normally brings to, which is energy. He brings a lot of attitude to this team. He definitely ignites fire, when the Kings need it. Just last night and some other games in the last couple of weeks haven't been Malik's best performances.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah. We got lots more in the Kings, which we'll get back to, but Evan Drellich is going to join us, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Evan Drellich from The Athletic. He covered the A's opener last night. So, more on the Kings coming up. But up next, Evan Drellich on whether Sacramento and the A's pulled it off last night on opening night in his view. That's next with the Drive Guys on Sacktown Sports.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, it's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
At Valley Strong Credit Union, we know that local businesses are the backbone of the Central Valley, investing in our neighborhoods, boosting the economy, making the Valley stronger. But when it comes to their finances, where can they turn? A big bank that just sees another number? That's not good enough. Valley businesses deserve Valley support for payroll, credit, cash flow, and everything in between. Valley Business is Valley Strong. Learn how our cash management services can support your business at valleystrong.com.
At Elk Grove Honda, not only do we have a great selection of pre-owned cars at very fair prices, but every one of our pre-owned automobiles are treated with kid gloves with a 182-point inspection that covers everything from unibody to tires to brakes and engine filters. Then our cars receive a mobile oil change and fresh fill-up with full synthetic mobile oil. We know you have lots of choices of where to purchase your next car. Come to Elk Grove Honda, home with a 182-point inspection and mobile oil change. We're in the Elk Grove Auto Mall, Highway 99 at Elk Grove Boulevard.
Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has the best truck on the market, the 2025 Ram 1500. And that's not an exaggeration. It's proven. It's the 7th time Ram has won the Motor Trend Truck of the Year. Connor Driver named it one of its 10 best vehicles of 2025, giving it a 10 out of 10. And at J.D. Power, it's number 1 when it comes to brand vehicle quality. And hey, yeah, all that's great. But where Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram really separates themselves from the pack is their car buying experience. Come on in and see for yourself why they say it's where a handshake still means something.
Your afternoon home for Kings talk and so much more. The Drive Guys on Sacktown Sports.
Yeah, well, Evan Drellich is going to join us bottom of the hour, but he'll be worth the wait. So Evan Drellich, something going on with him. He'll be joining us bottom of the hour with a look at how that opener went down for the A's in Sacramento last night. So we roll on with the Kings conversation. A lot of talk today about what fans want going forward. And, of course, we're not sure where the Kings end up this offseason. I'm on record as saying I hope Monty is back. A lot of indications that he won't be. Maybe he doesn't want to be back.
Give him an opportunity again.
Maybe he doesn't want to be back.
Okay.
That's a possibility, too. Maybe after this year, something went down where he said, you know what, I'm good. I don't know. I have heard some names thrown around. There's one name that's thrown around that you could guess, like, and they're not getting that guy. He's not going to.
Who was it?
Well, you can figure it out.
No.
It's
Throw that around, man.
Yeah, I can't
No
say,
need to
but
run
you
from
can
it.
figure it out.
Why you can't run from it?
You can figure it out.
They're not going to get him. Why? He's already
He's too smart.
Oh, okay.
You look at.
I don't know who that is.
You can figure it out from this.
All right.
You look at Vivek and his history,
Uh-huh.
and you look at guys who were successful GMs who are not currently GMs.
Okay.
And there you go.
From
what I hear,
there's 50 of those
what do I
people.
know?
Yeah.
Well, there's one guy that stands out. Yeah. And like I said, I hope Monty.
How you gonna tease it and don't drop his name? Are you friends with this guy?
Somebody will figure it out. It's not that complicated. But
I've seen about 15 different names already.
Okay,
dropped.
you've probably seen that. And
of course I have.
It's what I've heard is just like, well, they're checking. Of course they are. If in fact they need a GM, they're checking them. How about this guy? How about that guy? This guy's not going to do it. It'd be great if he did, but I don't think it's going to happen. Anyway, here's one of the problems.
Pass me the note and I'll say it.
No.
Well, write it on the paper.
The way I found out, I'm really not at liberty of saying.
I got you.
I mean, I get it's possible it's not right if I think it's right.
Sources have told you.
Yeah.
All right.
In a roundabout way. Yeah. I've been okay with some of that stuff that I've told you, like when, Jake LaRavia and some of that stuff. I've been lucky on some of that.
No, you've been on point, man. You got sources?
Maybe not.
Don't we all?
Yeah. I know
According
you do.
to everybody.
I know you do.
I ain't got no sources.
Yeah.
I don't know a person.
This is from DeMarvelous Play-In on X. I think this speaks to one of the biggest issues the Kings have right now. Domantas Sabonis pre and post De'Aaron Fox trade. I did not look this up. I'm taking DeMarvelous Play-In at his word, and I'm comfortable doing that. Pre-Fox trade, Domantas Sabonis, 20.8 points per game, 14.4 rebounds, 6.5 assists per game, 60.5 field goal percentage, 47.3 from three, 77% free throw percentage. That's pre-Fox trade. Post-trade, Domantas Sabonis, 14.6 points per game, 13 rebounds, strong, but a tick down. 4.7 assists, down from 6.5, 53% from the floor, 18% from three, 66% from the foul line. So that's like not the same guy. And now, obviously, he has had some injuries as well. I think part of the problem for the Kings right now is after Doug came in as the head coach, they changed the offense in some ways. This is to my eye. No one has spoken to me about this.
They have.
So typically you have guys that come in and they got to get acclimated to the new offense. Well, now you had guys coming in and get acclimated to a new offense, which the players who were already here were also getting acclimated to.
Yeah.
Right. So there was some wrinkles of this offense that were new for everybody, the new guys and the guys who had already been here.
Yeah.
And it's tough to do that, as Doug says, on the fly when the plane is in the air.
Yeah.
Agree.
Yeah. I think you've said everything I need to say. You're 100% right. Without being a broken record, this team is definitely working in the air when it comes to, landing. They're trying to repair the broken wing, the engine, and everything else while flying the plane at the same time. Mm-hmm. This team definitely has some areas and avenues to work on. And unfortunately, it's happened during the middle of the season. Unfortunately, they haven't had the proper amount of time that I think everyone around here would love to see Coach Christie get the certain amount of time. I would imagine we would love to work in Zach and put in some plays and different avenues for him with DeMar versus him without DeMar. Malik taking over point guard duties, something that he hasn't done on a regular as a full-time starter. Keon Ellis has been a starter, have not been a starter. DeMontis has been hurt. Jake LaRavia has missed a few games.
They missed
Trey Lyles have missed a few games.
Yeah.
Malik was sick. The assistant coach dipped. The head coach definitely was fired. The assistant general manager, he took another job. The assistant coach that was supposed to replace the assistant coach wasn't here for a minute because he had some personal things going on. Dare I continue? I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying, I don't know what we're expecting from this team. What are we expecting?
I'm expecting this. I'm expecting that when you have a lead in the fourth quarter, you don't make the same mistakes down the stretch that you made the last 2 or 3 times you're in that situation that cost you the game.
I'm with you. I got you. But unfortunately, those things happen when you don't have the proper time. You're still figuring out each other. You're still trying to get an understanding of spacing. You're still working with a rookie head coach. You're still working with assistant coaches that haven't been worked under this assistant coach who's turned to coach.
It's not ideal.
Yeah, it's just so many different things, so many questions. But all that being said, it's no excuse. I'm 100% with you on that. And that's why I continue to ask the Kings fans, what are we looking for, knowing that all these things have happened? All of these things have occurred during this season. Are we so if I hear you correctly, Whitey, and please correct me if I'm wrong.
Oh, I will.
If they change something and still lost, you're good with it.
Well, I mean, would have to see what changes, how they change it. Let me ask you this, and I'm not dodging your question, but
let's say they go ISO ball Keon Ellis. You're good with
different.
That.
I mean,
okay. I'm just asking. I'm trying to get an understanding because I continue to be repetitive. Let's just say let's go a 2-man game. Don't be ISO. Let's go 2-man game. Let's play off the block. DeMontis DHOs with Keon Ellis. DHOs with Keegan Murray. You're the only 2 people that controls the ball in the last 5 minutes. We okay with that and they still lose?
It's different. So okay with it. I would like to see them run other things. And maybe that's, easy to say sitting in I got a really nice recliner that used to be my mom's. That's where I watch the games when they're on the road. But, it's easy to sit there and go, they need to do that. I know. And maybe, the assistant coach would come in and go, look, this is why we can't do that. I get that. But that's what I'd like to see. See them run something. See them play more to their strengths. See Domas get more touches in the fourth quarter. See them try to get out and transition a little more and attack rather than, it's the classic basketball mistake. You've got a lead in the fourth quarter, so you start to sit on the clock. And then the next thing you know, you've lost momentum and you can't get it back. This is from ESPN, and they have a piece today, ESPN.com, on the coaching carousel. Pros, cons, what's next for every open job? Right now, there's 2. They're considering the Kings job open, which it may not be. But do you agree with this? So they're saying Sacramento Kings, positive. And again, there's, Doug Christie could get the job, which would mean it's not open. Positives, veteran, ready to win talent. Negatives, small market, decades of instability. And that's the one that I think fans want to see change is the small markets. We love Sacramento, but decades of instability.
Yeah, I'm wholeheartedly. And that's why it's not surprising that they're losing games in certain ways that they're doing because of the stability. The stability. And it's a full circle going around. And that's what I'm trying to get to. And that's why I proposed the question. What is, and maybe let me pare it down for Kings fans. What are you okay with right now for the next 8 games? And then what is the answer this offseason that you would like to hear or see from this team? Because we all know the stability is the problem. And that's there. It can't be an excuse if we know it's there. And that's what I'm trying to correlate for Kings fans. There is a problem, consistent problem with this team. The way they're playing first quarter, fourth quarter, the way they start the games, they normally come out the gate slow. And they normally in the fourth quarter can't execute, get stagnant, play an ISO type basketball game within the last 5 minutes, as they say, crunch time.
Yeah.
With that, what has correlated into those problems during games, the day-to-day evaluation is the stability of the organization. And I laid it all out this segment. And that's where my frustration lies, and that's why I continue to keep coming to the table. It's not an excuse if we know it's there. I'm just continuous to keep putting in front of your face to know stability is a problem with this team.
Right. And then the other, one of the arguments to that as well, stability doesn't mean anything if you're not any good. What good is stability? You have to have the right people to be stable. That's fair, but consider this from Tim Bontemps. He's a fine writer. He's no Sam Amick. He's no Anthony Slater, but he's a fine writer. This is what he writes.
Cold blood.
He's definitely no Amick. Not even close, but he's good. He's really good. Don't get me wrong. He says, here's all you need to know about the Kings. See if you agree with this. Here's all you need to know about the Kings. Since moving to Sacramento in 1984, 2 coaches have had at least 1 full season with a winning record. Rick Adelman, who did it for 8 straight seasons from 99 to 2006, and Mike Brown the past 2 seasons. Sacramento has made the playoffs in 3 of the 33 seasons not coached by Adelman, underscoring the difficulty of this job.
Yeah.
So that, again, at the risk of being redundant, that's why a lot of fans are frustrated because it seemed like, wow, it took him a long time to find somebody who was worth keeping, but Mike Brown seemed to be that guy, and now he's gone already.
Yeah.
And we're rebuilding things and turning things down again so soon. What happened? So it's frustrating.
Yeah, it is. And someone of 925 Sac drama, y'all a part of it. Absolutely. I'm a Kings fan. Damn right I'm going to be a part of it. Not going to run from it. I don't know if you're a fan, 925, but if you're not, stay out of it then. Because, I'm going to be a part of it. As I said, from the 925 on the text line.
Oh, okay.
It is a soap opera-ish type season yet again for the Sacramento Kings. And it is frustrating to take the day-to-day. And this is something, as a fan, I definitely rock with the Kings Kingdom. It is frustrating, and we are all looking for answers.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it doesn't seem like any of us have those answers. But in reality, it really only matters for a certain few who have those answers when it comes to the Kings organization. And it seems the Kings organization plays a part, or ownership, I should say. Kings ownership plays a part in that. And so I definitely understand the frustration of, as a fan of what are we trying to, because we can break it down game by game. Absolutely. Zach LaVine could do this. Malik could do that, and we do that every single day. But I'm today with the knowledge of knowing that things haven't changed and it have been repetitive. We have seen this story play out over and over again, where it comes down the team, as you talked about earlier in the show, the Kings are trying to protect the lead and they can't. And they lose it. And Ty Halliburton hits a 3 and it makes it, as you also talked, you definitely talked about, it's a revenge game for someone, for this organization.
All those bad feelings are dredged up again.
Right. Here we go. And so it happened yet again. So I guess I'm just pressing forward and being a part of the Kings drama and asking, as a fan to my other Kings fans, what is okay? What changes your perception? What becomes the reality this offseason, this last 8 games, play in, whatever, and you're back on the bandwagon and said, okay, I'm positive. I'm no longer going to be negative, or, I'm skeptical, whatever it's going to take, but you see something working towards being positive. That's what I'm asking.
Jerry Reynolds is going to join us at 4:30. So it'll be very interesting to see what he thought of last night and what he thinks of where the Kings could be headed. And when we come back, yes, Evan Drellich from The Athletic on whether Sacramento and the A's pulled it off last night. Next on Sacktown Sports.
Everyone has a past, but what happens if you've made mistakes and made good on that past, but it keeps following you? Are you looking for an attorney to erase past records and restore your rights? Maybe even restore your gun rights? Do you need a reputable criminal defense attorney who knows even good people make bad mistakes? Well, the attorneys at Gonzalez Law Office are here to help. Find Gonzalez Law Office online at saclegaldefense.com or call them at 916-304-9187. We don't settle for less, and neither should you.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million+ products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Springfest savings start now at Lowe's, so don't miss out. Get up to 40% off select major appliances. Plus, save an additional $100 on every $1,000 you spend on select major appliances. And save up to $10 on select lawn care products. Shop these can't-miss spring deals now. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 4/2. Selection varies by location while supplies last. See Lowe's.com for more details and qualifying items.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Come check out Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room with the most variety of table games in the region in a safe and friendly environment. Plenty of well-lit parking available, conveniently located in downtown Sacramento. And remember, Capital Casino has the best food, the best service, and the best action. 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento. For more information, log on to capital-casino.com, and please gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hello, Sacramento. I'm Emran Pilati, owner of True Sports Cards and Collectible Store here in Rockland, California, and the host of the True Sports Cards Show that airs right here on Sacktown Sports 1140 every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m., where we discuss the latest trends, hottest products, and deliver exclusive interviews with other industry leaders. And don't forget to visit our shop, True Sports Cards, at 6661 Stanford Ranch Road in Rockland, and see what we have for all your sports card and memorabilia needs.
Sacramento's premier country music festival, Country in the Park, is coming back May 16th and 17th at Cal Expo with Bailey Zimmerman, Billy Currington, Cole Wetzel, Nate Smith, and more. You'll enjoy food trucks, rock walls, and a mechanical bull, line dancing, and more. Single-day GA tickets start at $52 at CITPFest.com. Country in the Park, May 16th and 17th with Paul Mitchell, The School, Sacramento, and Stoney's Rockin' Rodeo. Find out more at CITPFest.com. Join Sacktown Sports at Fastener's Tool Outlet, 6701 Power Inn Road, this Thursday morning from 11 till noon to check out the Monster Nitro Truck Tour's incredible monster truck. Grab your tickets now for the April 5th show at monstertrucktour.com.
The Drive Guys, live and local, every afternoon, Monday through Friday on Sacktown Sports.
Yeah, tough one for the Athletics last night. Very tough one, as they gave up 18 runs in their home opener for the first time in the history of the franchise. It's a franchise that goes back a ways. Oakland, Kansas City, Philadelphia. Most runs surrendered by a team in their home opener since St. Louis Browns in 1925. So that was rough. But other than that, a lot of enthusiasm in the ballpark. We have our guest ready, Jay? Yeah. I was not there last night. I watched on TV. Our next guest was there and wrote about it for The Athletic. Senior writer for The Athletic, Evan Drellich, with us. Evan, I don't know whether you're still in town, but listen, I don't know how much time you spend in Sacramento. Want to apologize to you for the weather we've had the last couple of days.
Listen, I'm walking down the street in Sacramento right now, right by the Kings Arena, and it's a beautiful day. So no apology necessary.
Good. A little chilly last night out of the yard, though, right?
Well, look, I'm from New York. Okay. I'm used to that.
What'd you think overall? Did Sacramento pull it off last night?
Look, I think the moment that struck me was somewhere in the early middle innings. I just went and walked down to the concourse, and the place was packed, and it was packed with A's fans, right? Just A's jerseys everywhere, and you had all these people sitting out on that lawn in right field, and that was the lead of the story I wrote today for The Athletic, was just about that's the vision they're selling here, right? People are going to show up, and they're going to come out and watch both the A's and the visiting team. And so in that sense, I think they did pull it off. I think there's a lot of things they didn't pull off, right? Two things can be true at once. Sure. And obviously the loss was damn ugly. And, but you look at other little details, right? It's tough. The ballpark doesn't have a lot of things that make it the home of the A's. It doesn't feel like the A's park because it's not the A's park. But I think there are things that they can do going forward here. And, fans aren't going to care too much about the little media shack that got set up for us. But there are just some things that, unfortunately, I think feel a little second rate for a Major League Baseball operation. And you hope that over time they figure some more things out.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Evan, you mentioned the Home Depot shack in the back of left field, looks like, for the media scrum. Beside that, is there anything, is just, you coming to the ballpark, you coming to Sacramento, and forgive me, I'm not sure if you've had ever been to Sutter Health Park prior to last night. Is there anything that just automatically meets your eye where it's like, yeah, they're going to have to change that immediately?
No, look, I think there's some things they can't change. One of the things Luis Severino talked about is the fact that there's no way to get from the dugouts to the clubhouse, to the locker room. You got to walk through the outfield, and that's just not how Major League stadiums work, right? You can go from your dugout into a tunnel and go into your locker room at every other Major League stadium. But the construction it would take to do that, whether it's even physically possible, I'm sure anything is physically possible with enough money, but I don't think that's on the table there. So there are a lot of little things like that. I think I'm a little, maybe not the best audience. So I was just in Tokyo for the opening series between the Dodgers and the Cubs. And, really nothing can compare to that in terms of fervor you see walking around. I mean, Shohei Ohtani's image was everywhere. Dodgers fans were everywhere. It's unlike anything I've ever seen. Understanding that might have biased me a little bit. I think there are things to kind of welcome the A's and make it feel like, wow, there's now a Major League Baseball team here that could be done, right? There's just not a lot of signage around town, even around the ballpark, not even inside the ballpark. There aren't A's logos on flagpoles and lampposts. It's just, you don't show up here and feel like, oh, a Major League Baseball team just arrived here. And there's a lot that goes into that. It's the fact that it's only a 3-year stay. I think there's a little bit of a kind of trepidation for the A's to go too far in that direction. But, I think there are things they can do to make it feel a little bit more like A's territory.
Catching up with Evan Drellich. Evan, for what it's worth, I've lived in Sacramento many years. I've been a baseball fan longer than that. I love the A's. I think the A's belong in Oakland. I don't think Sacramento should have gotten mixed up in this at all, but here we are, and I'm going to a game next week. My question out of all that is this. Realistically, I know the idea is for Sacramento to show baseball, look, how we support a Major League team, and maybe that improves Sacramento's chances of getting a team of our own someday. What do you think, Sacramento, realistically, what does Sacramento have to gain by helping the A's out in this fashion?
Look, I think there's a potential to gain and there's a potential to lose, right? It can go in either direction. Major League Baseball teams, like any sports team in the major leagues these days, in other sports, want money from local government. They want taxpayer dollars to build stadiums. And so at the end of the day, Sacramento could be the greatest experience in the world. If a local government's not going to pony up cash, well, that's probably not going to happen. But assuming that, offers are all kind of equal, then it comes down to the markets, and where MLB feels things would be best. And it's very hard to know what that would end up being. They're still a few years away, I think, from really being able to do this. They need the Rays, or at least they say they need the Rays to get their stadium plan in order before they move to expand by 2 teams. The commissioner, Rob Manfred's planning to retire in 2029. He wants to have it in place. He doesn't want to have, the teams won't have started, but he wants to have the plan in place before he retires. I don't know if they're going to be able to do that or not. Look, if fans show up in Sacramento, that's going to be a positive. If it kind of shows that it can support a Major League Baseball team nightly, that'll only help you.
Evan, I've seen a few whispers. I've seen a few quotes from the opposing teams coming in here to Sacramento. What's your take? Have you gotten any opportunities? I know you, like you said, you were over across the pond. Have you gotten any opportunities to talk to any pro players talking about coming into Sacramento, positive or negative, or, not to put you on the spot, but have you heard anything? Have there been more negative? Has it been more positive? Is it just kind of like, hey, look, we'll acclimate as we get there?
I was in the Cubs clubhouse yesterday with a bunch of other reporters, and a few players were talked to about this. And, I think I actually expected there'd be a little bit more criticism of the visiting clubhouse, which is smaller than the home clubhouse. The home clubhouse, it's not huge, but it's new construction, and they did a pretty good job there. They put in an earnest effort. The visiting clubhouse is just really tight, but it's also been modernized. And the Cubs players weren't too unhappy with that. I think the dugout thing, the fact that you're walking from the outfield to the dugout, is something that's just a little weird for guys. And I think there's a curiosity and some skepticism around with other teams. Yeah, but I don't think it's universally, oh, this is awful, that everyone feels. Is there some of that? Yeah. I think there is.
Evan, real quick, let me follow up on that, because I've heard this conversation. You talking to a baseball guy, play college minors, those type of things. What's the big deal of having to come through a non-field locker room from the dugout to the locker room versus, like, is that a big league thing? I've never heard that as much as I've heard that about this right now.
That had that.
Yeah, like, what's the big deal about that?
Yeah, I think it's a matter of, you have a bad game, fans are right on top of you, scream at you. You got to take a nice long walk of shame, so to speak.
So they're running from it.
Yeah, but look, that's not the only thing, right? I mean, one of the other concerns out of last night, and it's just one game, so we got to see what happens here. Is this place going to play like a bandbox? I mean, when the summer heats up, is Major League Baseball being played in what is essentially a Pacific Coast League launch pad? That's not ideal either. I think in the big picture here, there's obviously a sense of novelty to having Major League Baseball in a small stadium like this. And, I wrote it in my story last night. I think the question is, does novelty ultimately equate to legitimacy? Do you feel like you're playing in a minor league park? Do you feel like you're playing somewhere that you just shouldn't be playing or not? And that's going to be an evolving story, and it's going to include all those factors, right? It's not just the dugout walk; it's the clubhouses, it's the facilities. It's do you feel like this is Major League Baseball? And I think it's a complicated question at this moment. It's certainly not a slam dunk that yes, this is clearly a big league setup.
Yeah, can the A's in Sacramento get through 3 years of this? I don't think anybody knows, right? I mean, we really just have to wait and see on a lot of this, right, Evan?
Yeah, look, I was talking to somebody last night who, I'll be really vague here and just say, industry official, and they were expressing, I don't know how you do 3 years of this, and I think that's an open question. Where do you go, right? I mean, even if you got to a point where you're like, we just don't like this, and I have no indication, I want to be clear that that's afoot. But if that did happen, what's the alternative? And that's kind of the whole issue here, is they don't have a major league stadium to move into. The whole thing is, I'll use the word suboptimal, but it's nice for this community, right? I think you can take a real joy in having Major League Baseball in a new market.
Evan, I'll end on my last question. It will end on a baseball question. Besides the Dodgers, is there any hope for anybody else this season?
Let's go, Padres!
It just feels like everybody's got their pulse and thumb, and I know you got to see the Dodgers last couple of weeks. Is there a chance for anyone else?
You know, there's a reason we haven't seen a repeat since the Yankees in the late 90s. Baseball is a random game, and they expanded the playoffs to a third of the league, literally, when it used to be less. And I don't think the Dodgers are going to win again. I just think the odds are always against them. I'm not saying they couldn't, but the best teams in the sport win 65% of the time. You get into the playoffs, you have a chance, and look, the Dodgers obviously look great. They're stacked. They're a franchise in a different position than basically any other team because they're taking over, a foreign country's business, right? They're making a huge amount of money, not only in the U.S., but in Japan as well. And that's a different position than everybody else is in. Can somebody beat them? Heck yeah, somebody could beat them.
There we go. Evan, really enjoyed your story today. Thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it and enjoy the game tonight, and we hope to talk to you again soon.
Thanks, guys.
When we come back, the NFL just changed the kickoff rule again, but who will be kicking off for the 49ers? What? Next with the Drive Guys on Sacktown Sports.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Northwest Exteriors.
I'm meteorologist Kelly Kern in the KCRA3 Weather Center. Cloudy skies, breezy conditions, and more scattered showers, even a few thunderstorms. Afternoon highs topping out around 60. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA3 News and the KCRA app.
Northwest Exteriors wants to keep you cool all season long. Trusted in Sacramento for heating and cooling systems. Book your tune-up today as part of our 30th anniversary special. Call 888-TRUST-NW or visit trustnorthwest.com.
Simply the best. Trust Northwest.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out collection letters, garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it even harder to get out of debt. Don't let tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in taxpayer assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Let them fight on your behalf, helping to put your tax problems to rest. Call the tax professionals at Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Our daughter Jessie loves playing detective.
A clue.
But since we discovered she has sensitive skin, we've been playing detective too.
We thought the problem was our puppy.
But it was actually our old detergent.
Aha.
So we switched to Tide Free and Gentle. Tide Free and Gentle provides an excellent Tide clean, and it doesn't leave behind irritating residues like dyes or perfumes. So it's gentle on your skin.
Case closed.
If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Free and Gentle.
No two people learn the exact same way. So how did Babbel become the award-winning language learning app? We thought of you, all of you. Take Sierra. As a visual learner, she uses Babbel's wordplay videos.
Today I'll share a quick lesson on shopping in French.
Merci beaucoup. Keith is a be in the room with real people kind of learner. So he loves the live online classes with our language experts.
Okay, class. Vos está pronto.
Estamos prontos.
However you learn, Babbel makes it easy. Try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Here'th my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times?
You're playing the lute. Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
At Rocket, we believe everyone deserves their shot at the American dream. So if you're feeling locked out of home ownership, we're here to give you back the keys.
We're opening doors, breaking down walls, and doing everything we can to turn renters into owners. And we're not going to stop until we help everyone home. To find out more, visit rocket.com. Rocket, own the dream.
Power Business Technology is proud to be a 100% independent, locally owned and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer since 2021. Contact us today for all your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
It's Carmichael Dave talking to you about my good friends at American Energy. You're in the Sacramento area. You know how the seasons work. They are a-changing right now. So American Energy wants to help you stay warm for the rest of the cold season, but help you stay cool during the warm season. Best way to do that, make sure your system is operating safely. So right now is the time to take advantage of half off a tune-up, $24.50. They cut that right in half, and if you want a diagnostic, guess what? You can't beat free. If it's free, it's me, and now it can be you. And also, it's the end of the season blowout. $4,000 off a new system plus any rebates. That $4,000, that's a direct drop from the sticker price. It's a great deal. Check them out at theaeway.com or an instant quote, or give them a call at 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990. Tell them your good buddy Carmichael Dave sent you.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday. Sacktown Sports.
This is for you, Jay, in the Chateau from El Hector. Hey, Jay, got to drop that Ace fandom. Was an Ace fan since 79. But after all that Fisher business that he put the A's through, I had to drop them. His pettiness, wanting to remain on revenue sharing and lies, ruined it.
Yeah, I respected it.
El Hector. Yeah.
I respect that, El. I'm close. Let me tell you this. This is probably the end for me if they leave California. If they move to Vegas, I'm out. I'm gonna be right there with you, El.
The sad thing about that, the tough thing about that for me is the team's so likable. And like you said, I agree with you, Jay.
Yeah.
They win 75 games this year. That'd be like, wow.
Yep.
You know, it's tough. They won 69 last year, up to 75. That would be something. But clearly they're putting something together. There's a lot of talent and a lot of likable guys.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. And
Soderstrom and Butler and
shortstop
hit his home run
Miller.
last night first. Yeah.
There's definitely they have some young talent though.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what you're saying, and that's what the A's do. What they normally do is they go for 4 to 6 years, young talent, and then once they're not able to, get past the arbitration years and the control years, which is 6 years. After that's done,
bye-bye.
Talent normally moves on.
Well, that's part of being an A's fan.
And Olsons and the Tejadas.
Don't get too attached.
Yeah.
Somebody, I think it was Alan, told me Jacob Wilson's home run last night. That's the only ballpark in the majors in which that would have been a home run.
Really?
Yeah, based on how far it went.
Right. Yeah. Well,
it's all right. Touch them all.
Man. People have been complaining about Coors Field for how long?
That's right.
So I'm not feeling any kind of way. But real quick, and I asked Evan this question. Do you find it strange? And I understand there is a hierarchy to when you are in college, high school to JUCO / college to minor leagues to making it to the big leagues. But I've never seen so much emphasis put on the fact of walking from the locker room or the clubhouse to the dugout. And I've heard that so much over the last season and a half because, the A's are going to play here in Sacramento. I've never heard that so much in my life.
First ballpark I ever went to was Candlestick. Growing up, went to Candlestick all the time. And then that was even before the A's were here. And that's the way Candlestick was. So kind of grew up. That was part of when you went to the ball game, players did that. So I know it's interesting. Justin Turner said last night, and I think might have been in Evan's story. He said, yeah, we're going backwards on that. So like from the player's standpoint, it's like, that stinks. So you know how it is. They just feel like Oh, we got rid of that in most places. Now we got to go back to that. I'm a little surprised it's that big of a deal.
Well, I understand because, you work your way out of the minor leagues. I get that part of it, but it's like that's not the biggest of the biggest issue.
Right.
There's some other things that probably need to be figured out. But I've heard that, and maybe it's just one of those things where you read out because it's a list of the deficiencies that Sutter Health Park has compared to to other big league ballparks. But man, I've heard that numerous times. I'm like, what's the big deal?
Yeah.
And to keep it a buck, a lot of these players ain't but a 0 for 31 stretch or a 2 for 31 stretch from jumping right back down to AAA anyway. And let me take it a step further. If we were looking at batters' averages, there are some people who probably need to walk to the locker room, to the clubhouse from the dugout, because this 250 average that pro players are keeping around nowadays, man, stop it. Stop it.
The cool thing about that from a reporter standpoint, if you covered a 49er game, the press box for 49ers was like third base side. So because where you go into the locker rooms is on the other side of the field, down the right field line, you would, as a reporter, have to go down so that you could get there in time. All the reporters would go down onto the field for the last couple minutes because, you'd be down there waiting on the field. Then you'd go in right behind the players into the locker room. So I was on the field. I remember one time when Ronnie Lott hit they're playing the receivers. They're playing the Cowboys, and a Cowboy receiver, Ronnie Lott hit him, and, being on the field, I remember thinking, man, I'm surprised he's not dead. You can see when you're on the field at that level. Also, I was on the field when the Giants beat the 49ers to go to the Super Bowl, the Whitney Houston Super Bowl. I'll never forget being on the field when Barr kicks up because the 49ers are going to win, and then Leonard Marshall sacked Montana. And then Roger Craig fumbles, and the Giants go down and kick the field goal. And I remember watching that ball go through the uprights, 60,000 plus. So quiet.
Man.
Because the 49ers were going to lose when they knew they were going to win.
Does that fumble still come back and haunt Roger Craig, reason why he's not in the Hall of Fame?
I don't think so. No. I hope not.
I think
in the sense that he would have had one more Super Bowl in which to pad his stats.
That's all the great things Roger Craig has done. And don't get me wrong, he should be a Hall of Famer, hands down. He is one of the guys, who's not in the NFL Hall of Fame, who should be. I think a lot of 49er fans point right back to that fumble against the Giants as, dang, Roger. He's done astronomical great things in the league, especially for the team, of course, 49ers. But it's just like, man, that was the one that got away. Mm-hmm. How could you let it get away when you were getting ready to walk into the end zone? Unfortunately, that's just the way the game and the way the ball bounces. But I always just find it super interesting that people over the last year have talked so much about players walking from left field.
They're millionaires.
I get it. I understand, but damn.
The NFL changed the kickoff rule today. A rule change that was passed today. Will spot the ball on the 35-yard line after kickoffs into the end zone. So they're discouraging teams from kicking the ball into the end zone. Now touchback takes it out to the 35-yard line. So they expect we'll see a lot more returns. Meanwhile, Kyle Shanahan says today that after the draft, the 49ers intend to bring in a veteran kicker to compete with Jake Moody. How about that, Jay?
I thought you were going to finish it. I was waiting for the last finish. Where you going with that?
They're going to – Jake Moody's not necessarily the guy.
Yeah, a lot of 49er fans, that's music to their ears.
Yes,
that's a lot of music to the ears.
And Harbaugh came out in defense of Jake Moody because that was his college kicker,
of course.
But, yeah, he was a little shaky last year, huh?
Yeah, he was. A little bit. And he had an injury for a couple of weeks. I'll say this. If Harbaugh, you so strung up on him, go ahead and make that move, sir.
Yeah. Let's talk trade. Also, we had Jed York saying on Brock Purdy, I don't negotiate contracts, but any conversations I've had with Brock personally have been great. I feel good, and when he's ready, we'll sit down and finish it. It shouldn't be that hard to do, end quote.
Yeah.
So they're going to get this done.
Yeah, they're going to get it done. I think they would be fools not to. We've been talking about stability, repetitive mistakes. The Sacramento Kings organization have fallen into and have made. I think the 49ers have been the complete opposite. I think they've been a team and an organization that tends to get things done, albeit sometimes you're pulling teeth.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen the last couple of seasons with Brandon Ayuk and, Bosa and guys like that. But for Debo, for the most part, I think the team normally operates at a high level. They pay their guys. They take care of their guys. Now, they may come next year and ask you to restructure.
Yep.
But we're going to get you done. We're going to get it done, for the most part. And in reality, we know you rarely see quarterbacks get into a long, drawn-out negotiations over a contract.
I think they learned from last year. They don't want any more long, drawn-out anything. Jerry Reynolds joins us at the bottom of the next hour. And coming up, Kings have the inside track on a winning spot in the NBA's disappointment derby. That's next on Sacktown Sports.
Live and local.
With everything 49ers.
Intercepted by Fred Warner. Dives for the end zone. Touchdown! San Francisco! Lob ball. Jones went up and caught the ball. Touchdown!
The 49ers play on Sacktown Sports 1140.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9861. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9861. That's 800-575-9861. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
What's going on, world? It's your boy Kevin Hart with some exciting news. I am coming to a city near you. My new tour is called Acting My Age, and I want to see you there. Come out, have a good night, a good time. It's all new material in a much, much more intimate setting. Go get your tickets and head to KevinHartNation.com now.
Comedy superstar Kevin Hart brings his new tour, Acting My Age, to the venue at Thunder Valley on Saturday, April 26th. Tickets on sale now at ThunderValleyResort.com and KevinHartNation.com.
Your old HVAC system could be costing you a fortune in energy bills and repair bills. Right now, Sierra Pacific is offering deep discounts, saving homeowners thousands of dollars. Savings that won't be available later this year, but you must act fast. We have to fill openings in our schedule next week. This limited time offer is only available if you book your installation for next week. Don't wait until it's too late. Call Sierra Pacific and lock in your savings today.
Sierra Pacific Solar Heating and Air. The guys in the big red trucks.
Sacramento's premier country music festival, Country in the Park, is coming back May 16th and 17th at Cal Expo with Bailey Zimmerman, Billy Currington, Cole Wetzel, Nate Smith, and more. You'll enjoy food trucks, rock walls, and a mechanical bull, line dancing, and more. Single-day GA tickets start at $52 at CITPFest.com. Country in the Park, May 16th and 17th with Paul Mitchell, The School, Sacramento, and Stoney's Rockin' Rodeo. Find out more at CITPFest.com.
Sacramento Kings basketball.
Two-hand rip. First down by Devin Gardner.
The run to the playoffs.
Keegan Murray throws it ahead. Boyles for the two-hand flush. What a great sequence defensively for Sacramento.
On Sacktown Sports 1140.
Don't stop, pump the don't stop, pump the don't stop, pump the don't stop, pump the don't stop,
The only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Sacktown Sports.
Have you noticed that this race for the play-in spots, bottom two spots that the Kings are in, involves 3 very disappointing teams. And I don't mean to make any Kings fans feel worse than they already do about things, but this has been arguably the most disappointing season in Kings history, Sacramento Kings history. Certainly one of. But they're not alone in terms of wallowing in disappointment. Look at the Dallas Mavericks, who last year went to the NBA Finals, and here they are without Luka, and they're 2 games under 500. Now, yeah, as we speak, they're ahead of the Kings, but you've got these 3 teams battling for the last 2 spots. You got the Mavericks. What a disappointment after last year. I mean, just think if you're a Mavericks fan, your whole world of fandom turned upside down. Luka's not on the team anymore? What are we, Anthony Davis? What are we doing? So they're battling, Kings battling, and then the Phoenix Suns, who may be the most disappointing team in the history of the NBA when you look at their payroll. And for all the money they're paying Kevin Durant and Devin Booker and Bradley Beal, and they brought in Coach Budenholzer, and they've got an owner, Matt Ishbia, is like, I don't care what it costs. We're going to spend as much as we need to do to win. And they're 35-40. So only 2 will get spots. And, of course, getting a spot on the play-in doesn't guarantee by any stretch that your season won't end in disappointment. But this is, I called it last week the dysfunction derby, but it's really more of a disappointment derby. Jay, we got 3 really disappointing teams, but they're all still scrapping and trying to make something out of these seasons that to this point have been pretty sorry.
Yeah. I guess we've got our eye on one, knowing the other 2 are in our way.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I would only imagine, I haven't had the opportunity to listen to Dallas radio or watch television or Phoenix, radio or television. I'm pretty sure they're saying the same things.
Yes. Now the Suns, they have 7 games left. They're a game behind the Kings, 1 behind in the loss column. If you just look at the standings, you could probably make yourself nervous as a Kings fan. Like, oh my goodness, boy, they're right there, and they've got the Kings' last game of the season. But they're without Kevin Durant he's supposed to be out a week, and they've still got the toughest remaining schedule in the NBA. Remember, the Kings were right up there, but then after they played some of their tougher opponents, their strength of schedule kind of
fell to 8th.
Yeah. Well, the Suns still have a very, very difficult schedule. So you never know in sports, but I think it would be very difficult for the Kings to miss the play-in, even if as an organization, players, everybody decided, you know what, we're better off not making the play-in. Let's just rest our best players. They're not going to do that. Even if they did, is my point, they probably still would finish ahead of the Suns. So I think the Kings are in the play-in. It just would be nice if they finished 9th rather than 10th, and you get at least 1 home game.
Yeah.
And I know things are bleak on a lot of fronts with the Kings right now, but Jay, I still want the play-in, and I still want that shot at the playoffs.
I'm with you.
Let's go.
I'm with you. As much as we've talked about it, I would love to see the home game play-in game, the 9 spot.
Right.
Give me that, because I know Kings fans. I know the G1C is going to be rocking, and we'll be blessed to be in the building. And so I just want to, if nothing else, please give me that game. Now, if you're fortunate enough to get the W and move on and play the 8-9 game, or the loser, I should say, out of the 7 and 8 game, then I'm with all of that.
Yeah. Now, who would they play? Let's just say the Kings, they beat Dallas, and then they're waiting for the 7-8 game loser. Minnesota's 7th, Clippers are 8 right now, the Warriors are 6th. Memphis has lost 3 in a row. They're 5th right now. And I saw our buddy John Dickinson, used to work with John Dickinson.
Yeah, I love JD.
Yeah. On X today, he suggested that, you know what, the Grizzlies may be headed for the 7-8. How about that if the Kings ended up playing the Grizzlies for the 8th spot and a trip to the playoffs?
They've played the Grizzlies and the T-Wolves well this year.
Yeah.
They've went up to Minnesota and jumped on the T-Wolves, so it's not like you can't beat them there in Minnesota. They've played Memphis super tough. I know Ja Morant, I believe, has missed 2 of the games. No, he missed the last one that was here. I believe he missed 2 of the games that they've played Sacramento. Be interesting. It'd be super, super interesting. Memphis seems like they're reeling as well.
Oh, yeah.
They're definitely reeling, letting go Taylor Jenkins. They're a former head coach now. They've got an interim head coach. That's the type of team you want to catch. If you have any opportunity to maybe, jump into that top 8, that final 8 to make the playoffs, Memphis, Minnesota too. The only thing that scares me with Minnesota is I'm a big proponent that 1 star can win a game. And Ant Edwards can lead his team, and I know he can't score 100 points. He ain't Wilt, but taking over, hitting big shots, he's the type of guy that scares me compared to.
They scare me too.
Memphis.
Yeah. The Clippers are obviously a little scary because they defend.
True.
You don't know, with the health of Kawhi and any game, play in, play off, whether he's going to be available or not. I hope he's available.
Good coaching.
I like watching him
Clippers
play.
have great coaching.
They sure do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Minnesota also scares me. And by the way, we were talking last week about the Memphis Grizzlies and the coaching change. And one of the things that we had heard was, no, there's nothing to it. Basketball decision. But it sounds like there was more to it, Jay. It sounds like the GM and the coach just were not getting along at all.
Yeah, and it seems like I've seen a few reports now, too, kind of come out that maybe Ja Morant wasn't on the same page with Taylor Jenkins as well. Didn't really like his playing time. Felt like he could have had the ball a little more in his hands.
Yeah, they're
maybe
running a
seems
different
like
offense.
the offense. Yeah,
they're not running as much pick and roll, which Ja is a master of, and everybody's minutes were kind of down as they were playing more guys. So I was wondering about that. Yeah, that would make sense.
You were spot on. You said it last week. There was something extra to the story.
We both said that. Yeah. So anyway, the Grizzlies now they've lost 3 in a row. They're 3-7 in their last 10. We were talking about the Kings, bailing some water. That Grizzlies boat may be listing heavily right now. Glug, 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 glug. Kings could end up seeing them in the play-in tournament, as they call it.
Oh, I'll take it. Sign me up. If that's what counts, sign me up. I 100% will take it. First of all, you got to get through the 9-10 game.
Right.
But if you can get through, if you're looking at a wounded Memphis Grizzlies team, maybe a coin flip type of Clippers team, which as you said, you don't know where Kawhi is going to fit in on that. I like my chances, but we've been saying that all season. I like the chances of the Kings going into Indianapolis last night. And if you would have said they were up, 16 at one point in time, if you would have said they were up in the final minutes, under 5 minutes, and the Pacers just missed so many 3-pointers.
They did.
They were literally, it was like they were anemic from 3-point line at the end. Compared to Ty Halliburton, of course, hitting that go-ahead 3. But there were a few opportunities, and I think Mark even talked about it last night because I got to see the broadcast. He said the team dodged a few bullets. There were back-to-back threes that were missed a couple times. Yeah, they just missed a bunch of threes. But if you would have told me going into it, I would have thought they had a better opportunity. I'd have thought the Kings had an opportunity going into Orlando, even though Orlando plays the Kings decently well because of athleticism and length.
Kings did not show.
No, they
did not show. Yeah, the big shot last night was, I think, Indiana was up 2, and then Halliburton off the screen from Siakam, and then both, wasn't it, Keon and Sabonis both kind of stayed with Halliburton. Siakam's wide open. Bam!
Yeah, and he had missed 4 threes. Yeah, he finally hit that one.
Made it 5, and that was pretty much that.
That was.
Anyway, as far as the Kings go here, there's a debate on X. Perhaps you've participated in it. Are they better off missing the play-in and keeping the draft pick? And I said this last week. I don't mean to be redundant. You may be right. Those of you who hope the Kings miss the play, well, they're not going to miss the play-in. That's almost certainly not going to happen. But will they keep that draft pick? Maybe they're better off if they do, but it's not what I'm rooting for. If it comes to that, fine. And I get that. You may be right, but you play to win the game.
Yeah,
I want to see the Kings win games and get into the playoffs for only the 11th time in team history since they've been in Sacramento. And I know that, what chance they have against OKC? It's the playoffs. They still have a chance. And I know right now it doesn't look like a very good chance at all. That's still what I'm rooting for, Jay, and I'm not going to apologize.
Nah, I'm with you. I think we're riding in the same vehicle.
Yeah.
I would love to see the team make it to the playoffs, meaning get to play OKC. And if nothing else, that would mean you would get a play-in game here. You would win a play-in game on the road versus one of the 3 teams we've already talked about. And then on top of that, you would at least get 2 games here at the G1C in the playoffs. And as much as this season has been volatile, I would just like to see the rewarding for the fans of the team making it to the playoffs.
Yes.
If nothing else, that should propel you, traject you, on an upward spiral versus, we're hunting and pecking for the back end of the lottery. Yeah.
916 here in the text line says, just don't want to see the Warriors for the play-in. I'd love to beat the Warriors for the play-in.
That would be a heck of a ball game, though.
That'd be a tough.
That would be a heck of a ball game.
Tough matchup for Coach
They
Christie's
running.
crew.
Who was that from the 916? They running from that?
Don't want to see that. Just
Man,
don't want to see
running
the
from
words
that
you play.
916. Put your name on it. Why are you running from it?
Mm-hmm. Because it hurts to lose to them, but think how good it feels.
You're right. Don't
Like
run
last
from
year.
it. Yeah, don't run from that.
Yeah. 707 disagreeing. We'll get to the ongoing debate here. Kings, play in or draft pick? That's coming up next. Jerry Reynolds, bottom of the hour. It's Drive Guys on Sacktown Sports.
When might you be buzzed? When you suddenly love everything.
You guys, I love this song. I love these nachos. I love our kickball league. Oh, I love this guy. What's your name? You know what I'd love? A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzzed warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I love your car. Is this real leather?
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Go from daydreamer to industry leader with Amazon Business. From office supplies to IT essentials, Amazon Business provides tools that help you save costs and make insight-based decisions. Learn how to bring your visions to life at AmazonBusiness.com.
The following is a test of the emergency alert system. This is only a test.
Come check out Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room with the most variety of table games in the region in a safe and friendly environment. Plenty of well-lit parking available, conveniently located in downtown Sacramento. And remember, Capital Casino has the best food, the best service, and the best action. 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento. For more information, log on to capital-casino.com and please gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
At Valley Strong Credit Union, we know that local businesses are the backbone of the Central Valley, investing in our neighborhoods, boosting the economy, making the Valley stronger. But when it comes to their finances, where can they turn? A big bank that just sees another number? That's not good enough. Valley businesses deserve Valley support for payroll, credit, cash flow, and everything in between. Valley Business is Valley Strong. Learn how our cash management services can support your business at valleystrong.com.
Your afternoon home for Kings talk and so much more. The Drive Guys on Sacktown Sports.
Jerry Reynolds, bottom of the hour, all-time Kings icon. And yeah, fans going back and forth here on the text line about, hey, are the Kings better off with the draft pick or missing the playoffs? And again, we'll go over it, but I'm not going to argue what they're better off doing. I just would rather see them win more games and play more games. From the 707, which typically is a seat of all seat of all knowledge and wisdom. Pardon me, but here I have to disagree with this. Yeah. What?
And here's the proof right here.
What are you talking about? There is no good thing about us making the play. It says play in playoffs right now. This team is a dumpster fire and need to reset everything. You can tell me 707. See, I'm guessing where that's. That's not Vallejo. I know that.
Were you saying that's Benicia?
That smells like a Benicia touch.
Petaluma, where you going with
Petaluma,
that?
yeah, I think we're talking real North Bay. Real North Bay up there. That's real North Bay thinking. Nothing good about playing more games? Nothing good about maybe another home game, maybe more than one home game this season? Postseason basketball at the Golden One Center? Nothing good about that? I disagree. Plus, not to get all caught up in the wonkiness of, well, if you convey the pick now, blah, blah, blah. Right. But if you do, if you don't have the pick and it conveys to Atlanta, then all your obligations are met as far as that trade, the Herder trade. Yeah. If you keep the pick this year, then you go through the same thing next year. At least this year.
10%.
They could use a nice pick. I get that, but I'd rather they win games. And yeah, there is something to be said for closing that door on that trade.
Yeah, I mean, both can be true.
Mm-hmm.
I think you could split the difference. I think there's definitely a lot of fans who want to see the draft pick because they're so used to seeing this team make lottery draft picks. And then you have the page out of your book, which is, nah, I'd rather see the playing game, maybe see a second playing game. And if we're really getting lucky and fortunate, making the playoffs, you face an OKC, you probably don't have that big of a chance, but you just never know. It's a roll of a dice. And as crazy as it sounds, probably going to get smoked.
If you play OKC, you're going to get destroyed.
Yeah, you're going to get smoked, but, it's part of the situation.
That. They just, what have they won? 62 games now? They've won 10 in a row?
Yeah.
From the 916. The people who want to keep the pick are also the same people who complain about the people that are drafted. Alan, thank you, Alan.
Shouts out, Alan.
Yeah, thanks for putting your name on it. I understand the reasoning. I just choose to look at it a different way. From Folsom Mike, if you had a choice between winning the play-in or you guarantee you get Arizona's Caleb Love, which would you want? Winning the play-in means I'm in the playoffs? Yeah. I want the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm a playoff guy.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I'm not rooting for losses. The other part of it is that's the thing is everyone likes their guy, Caleb Love. I'm not the biggest Caleb Love guy. It's cool.
Mm-hmm.
He's been in college for a long time now. We'll see how it plays out in the pros. I think he has an opportunity to be good, just as I believe a lot of the draft picks next year could be good. But it's still a crapshoot. He's still taking a chance. It's still an opportunity. So
yeah, like I said, I understand the argument,
the
pro
sure.
draft pick argument. I understand it. But to your point, Jay, we're not talking about the fourth pick or the fifth pick.
Guaranteed guys. And even those guys aren't guaranteed.
Unless you really hit the jackpot in the lottery. And when's the last time the Kings did that?
And I continue to keep on saying, are we really going to trust this organization's choices when it comes to draft picks? Like, I hear Caleb Love situation. I hear all these different Walker Clay Jr. You hear all these different names popped up. And when it comes to the draft, but you just never know where it's going to fall and how you're going to pick. Then at the same time, why do we still get the same people who complain about taking point guards, and then we get the same people talk about taking two guards, and it just can't win, man.
Mm-hmm. From the 916, maybe they can talk Quincy Doobie out of retirement. I'm not reading that one. From the 916, it's the first time I've heard this.
Yeah,
they can tank this year and next. Then the picks turn into second round picks the following year.
Right?
This team is not close to being a contender. It's a tank for 2 years.
Dang.
Really? Is that really what you want?
It's tough. I am.
The 707. I'm actually a major Kings fan from Sacramento area. Now live in Arizona.
Easy.
Listen to you guys from Arizona. I watch every game on League Pass. All right, thank you.
Is 707 the same one that said they want to see Caleb Love?
No, that was Folsom Mike.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
But thank you, Arizona. Yeah, you can still put your name on it if you want.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. What's with the North Bay slander? Another 707 here. Let
me take a step back. Yeah. Aren't you repping the 707? Why do you stand on it?
Is the seat of all knowledge and wisdom.
Okay, stand on it.
You're the one that said that's not true. You're the one that slandered the good name of the 707 and the good reputation.
I did a little bit because of what they were saying.
Mm-hmm.
I already see where they were going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From the 510, I want the Kings to win. There's no generational talent this draft anyway. Light the dang beam. That's 510 Frank. Thank you, Frank.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get both sides, but I'm choosing to want them to win games.
Yeah, I understand. I just think there are a lot of fans who have seen this story written before, and now you're like, I'd rather gamble, maybe get lucky in the draft, versus I pretty much know my fate if they make it to the play-in and or playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's not an opportunity for this team to hold the trophy at the end, but I take a step back and just say, in the beginning of the season, what was the end goal for this squad? Probably making the playoffs.
Yeah.
I think if
maybe even win in the first round, if we're being honest.
And there it was. Like, that was probably the furthest that anybody dreamed the Sacramento Kings would be. That goal is still obtainable, even though it doesn't look it's still not as shiny. They'd kind of limp into the playoffs. You'd be like, oh my goodness, they snuck into the playoffs. How'd this happen? They played 2 good games and made it to the playoffs. It's not as shiny, but if you take a step back and look at what the goals were in the beginning, it was to make the playoffs for many versus, take the 14th pick and maybe we can get Caleb Love. And no disrespect to Caleb Love because he might come in balling.
Mm-hmm. From the 831.
Yes, sir.
I'm torn. It would be nice to watch the Kings win and make the play-in, but we all know that they won't win much, if any, if they get to that point.
True.
Let's keep it real.
We are.
Yeah, I'm just rooting for a playoff appearance. They've always been, every time the Kings have made the playoffs, it's been special. The Kings in the playoffs, and they still have a shot at that. That's what I'm rooting for. Yeah, Herm Edwards from the 209. You play to win the game. Absolutely. Chris with a K. If the Kings tank, I'll stop buying tickets. I don't think tanking is anywhere near. Well, I don't think they're going to do it at all. This year, I think you could tank and it still wouldn't accomplish anything. But I don't think there's any way the Kings will tank. And I know a lot of people have talked about that this year. Oh, they should tank next year. The Kings, I don't think they're ever going to tank with current ownership. And I don't blame them. People will stop coming. And that'll be 4 years of, I know we always say, oh, Kings fans, they support the team no matter what. If you tanked, tore it all down, you'd have a hard time getting people in the building for the next 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, that's not the way to go about it. I know other organizations have done it. That's just not my style. I'm with you. The Kings organization don't need my money because they're billionaires already over there in some form or fashion. But to me, as much as Kings fans are the best fans are in the league, let alone throughout sports, it'd be very tough for me to come on here every single day and ask fans to really be a part of what's going on for the Kings if we know they're tanking. Absolutely. Like that's a tough piece of time to go through as a fan when you know your squad is not trying to win.
Yeah.
And Kings fans have shown up and shown out for too long. It sounds crazy because the Kings have organically tanked because they haven't been successful in many years, but I don't think they've ever come out yet.
We are. That's pretty good, huh?
And I think that's why Kings fans have always supported is like, yeah, okay, it's the Quincy Doobies of the world. They still have fans.
What is the point of having an extra game or two with players who won't be here next year? A higher draft pick is an asset we need. Remember, 916, you may be right, but higher draft pick, we're talking the pick is top 12 protected. So we're talking about the Kings would be around 12, something like that. So, I mean, is that a higher pick? I don't know. And there's also this, and you may be right, but don't forget this. There's more than you can acquire players by means other than just drafting them.
Sure.
And that's a really good way to get them, especially for a small market team. But you can acquire players in the offseason by other means.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
100%. You said spell right. I tell you one thing, it's fired up on that text line now. It's coming hot and heavy. It's an interesting situation to be in for the Kings, not so much for Kings fans. It's a frustrating situation for Kings fans, including myself, to see this team who has, pop out talent, DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, guys like that, Domantas Sabonis, all league type caliber guys. And it's frustrating to see this team not come together, not gel, not have the proper time, depending on who you ask, and really kind of, struggle towards the end of the season. They're not running through the tape line. They're kind of limping to the tape line. And so that's the frustrating part. But if you remove yourself, like if I'm the outside looking in and someone was talking about, they want to see the Warriors and they don't want to don't want to see the Kings play the Warriors. If I'm a Lakers fan, a Clippers fan, an NBA guy, I'm definitely looking from afar to see that's an interesting situation over there in Sacramento.
Yes.
Because you have some top end talent. You have some guys that are wanted by others. And I throw Malik Monk in that situation. I think people have an affinity for Keegan Murray. I think if you dropped his name a few different places throughout the league, people will, their ears will perk up. It's a situation that's got to be interesting for the rest of the NBA to be looking at for the Sacramento Kings. Now, for the fans and the people that's inside and the people around here in the 916 and the 209 and the 7-7, which isn't the root of all successfulness, like you said, the 831 and 530 and everything else around here,
the
man.
Seat of all knowledge and wisdom.
Okay.
Now, do you know, you've been in radio a long time, Jay. Do you know, is there any way for us to see a number on the text line and then have either a drug test or psych eval prepared for the person?
No, I didn't.
There's not?
No, never heard of it. We need one or two.
From the 404, the Kings will get a top 4 pick this year, maybe even number 1. Mark it down. That person needs help. All right. We and I feel obligated to reach out to whomever sent that. Right?
Yeah.
A top 4 pick.
Good luck.
I guess stranger things have happened.
And you still have to hit on it.
Yes, there's that too.
We've had
Still
top
gotta
4
get it
picks,
right.
right? You still got to make sure the proper person is chosen.
Mm-hmm. Jerry Reynolds knows all about that. He's been involved in those decisions. I bet you Jerry is a get into the play-in rather than draft pick guy.
For sure.
We'll find out when the all-time Kings icon joins us next on Sacktown Sports.
Waitay here, reminding you that not all grills are created equal. When buying a new grill, every detail matters. For March, grab a $149 gift with purchase of every new Napoleon Prestige stainless steel grill, including a pizza lover starter kit and much more. More March savings include up to $79 off Rogue models. Napoleon grills are built different, built better, built to last, with a lifetime warranty and premium stainless steel that boasts quality. See how Napoleon will help you achieve the perfect grilling experience. Visit Green Acres Nursery today with your best selection of Napoleon grills and accessories.
If you've always wanted to be a part of that Jeep life, there's no better time than now than the 2025 Jeep Wrangler. And no one has a better selection than Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. The Jeep Wrangler has been unmatched in off-road capability for over 80 years. But being a Jeep owner, it's so much more than the performance on and off the road. It's a lifestyle. It's camaraderie. It's the versatility and the customization. The new Jeep Wrangler, it's better than ever. And you won't be able to find a better car buying experience or selection than at Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram.
What's going on, world? It's your boy Kevin Hart with some exciting news. I am coming to a city near you. My new tour is called Acting My Age, and I want to see you there. Come out, have a good night, a good time. It's all new material in a much, much more intimate setting. Go get your tickets and head to KevinHartNation.com now.
Comedy superstar Kevin Hart brings his new tour, Acting My Age, to the venue at Thunder Valley on Saturday, April 26th. Tickets on sale now at ThunderValleyResort.com and KevinHartNation.com.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Hereeth my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times? You're playing the lute.
Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
At Rocket, we believe everyone deserves their shot at the American dream. So if you're feeling locked out of home ownership, we're here to give you back the keys. We're opening doors, breaking down walls, and doing everything we can to turn renters into owners. And we're not going to stop until we help everyone home. To find out more, visit rocket.com. Rocket, own the dream.
The Drive Guys, live and local, every afternoon, Monday through Friday on Sacktown Sports.
Shout out to the 707, the whole 707. You know, one of my favorite baseball players of all time is Johnny Gomes, who played with the A's when I was down with the A's flagship station in the Bay Area. And he had 3 numbers on his cleats and on his glove, 707, because he's a Petaluma guy.
Who was this?
Johnny Gomes, big 707 guy. Amadrox says, tread lightly there, JJ. Don't disrespect the 707.
I didn't. I just said it wasn't what do you call it?
It's the seat of all knowledge and wisdom, the 707.
I thought that was French Lick, Indiana, but yeah, it's not
You're right.
It may be.
Hey, our next guest, Jerry Reynolds. Jerry, this is probably no surprise to you. We spent the last weekend at the Inn at the Presidio, which is very nice, and it's one of the historic inns around the country or something. And there's a little book there, and I was looking through them, and I think there's 2 French Lick resorts that are among the historic inns in the country. Jerry, you probably knew that though, didn't you?
I did know that. I worked at one of them as a college, going through college and even high school, the French Lick Springs Resort, and then well aware of the West Baden Springs Hotel, and 2 4-star hotels, and of course they got a bunch of. It's a top flight resort area, and I always say for golfers, they've got 2 great Donald Ross course and a Pete Dye course. Those are 2 of the great developers of golf courses in history. So no, it's a big time, and of course. After last night, and getting busted up by Larry Bird, and I tried to trash talk, and I shouldn't have. I just shouldn't have.
Really? You got into it with Larry Bird?
Well, we always exchange little
my goodness.
Little text and
pleasantries
talks, and I never win. He just ends up cutting me to my heart. I just was in a fetal position at the end.
He's pretty good at it, isn't he, Jerry?
He's really good. You know, the thing that makes him, he's always can back it up. I can't most of the time. That's the thing about talking crap. You really need to be able to back it up.
Well, he's done it. I just think of some of the people he's actually done it with, like in the heat of battle, right?
Oh, he treats everybody the same. So, he's equal opportunity.
Yeah. Well, before we get into the game last night, I think I know how you feel about this, but we were just having, engaging fans in the debate. Hey, would you rather just end up keeping that pick this year, first round pick, or would you rather get into the play-in, maybe the playoffs? And Jay and I are both like, we just want more games. We want the play-in. We want the playoffs if that's possible. Even if you play OKC and they're really good, that's what we want. Which way do you lean on that, Jerry?
I want to win games. I want to win games. I'm Herm Edwards. You play to win the game.
Yes.
That'd be nice to get a pick, and that is depressing that they but I don't know that you could lose enough to get the pick anyway at this stage.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got two games with two teams that are actively trying to lose, and not very good anyway. So, and then with Phoenix, with Durant out and their situation. So, to me, it's just like, well, that's not even a particularly logical option at this stage.
Well said.
Yeah.
Well said.
Legend, I hate to be repetitive, but I'm doing it for the fans and the listeners because they want the answers. And maybe you don't, and I'm not putting you under the microscope. Is there anything that can be done at the end of game so it's not so ISO heavy, this team is not so stagnant on the offensive end?
Yeah, I think you can, we've talked about in the past some. I mean, I think you have to have more called plays, to where basically 5 men are involved with options. First option, you're looking for, Zach LaVine here, second option, and you're trying to get Monk off of a back screen, just a regular play sets is what I would say with several options. And, it may result that maybe you want at the end of the clock, you might want to have DeRozan to have the ball with 5-6 seconds if you haven't gotten a good shot by them, because he can get shots. But it would be nice, in the meantime, and many times to maybe have more movement and have more guys involved in the offense. So, yeah, there's definitely things you can do, but you probably just can't play the same free-flowing offense as we always know that defenses get tougher. Refs let more stuff go. Baskets are harder to come by. It's like, duh, it's been that way for 100 years. And so, you really have to work harder to get your hoops. And so everybody needs to kind of know what they're trying to do.
Sidebar on that point. We just had that big brawl involving the Pistons. And I've been wondering if the way the officials for the last season and a half here have been letting the game get more and more physical, if we were going to see that. Last night, and, Keegan ended up clocking Neesmith. I mean, he hit him in the head. They didn't call it. Keegan, it wasn't a dirty play, but he hit him right in the head.
He kabonged him, yeah.
Yeah, and it just, are they letting the play get too physical, Jerry, or is it nothing compared to what it used to be still?
Well, I'll say this. In the playoffs last year, I thought it was very similar to the, 80s and 90s, the physicality. And, of course, I love it.
Yeah.
I mean, where you're not going to score 130 points when you're allowed to kind of put hands on guys a little bit and bump them on their cuts, things of that nature. And that's what was happening. And occasionally you'll see games kind of get that way now, but then occasionally you won't. I mean, where it's just free flowing and all offense. But yeah, I think, but the Detroit thing, I mean, really it was just a lot of pushing and grabbing, really.
That's true, yeah.
I mean, they made the thing look worse as they pushed and grabbed into the stands, the first row there. Made it a little bit worse. But, but I like, to me, the I kind of like it that way. I like the idea that you scoring over 100 points might be enough to win.
Drawn by the legendary Jerry Reynolds. Jerry, Whitey had a interesting fact and tidbits, and I can't remember who it was from, but it was pre-De'Aaron Fox, post-De'Aaron Fox when it comes to Domantas Sabonis' number. Of course, he's been hurt a little bit here post-De'Aaron Fox trade. Have you seen any difference between his style of play pre-De'Aaron and post?
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's just not really as involved in creating the offense. You see it in his assist numbers or lack thereof.
Yep.
I mean, he's still getting his rebounds and mostly points. That hadn't been a big drop. It's been a drop off, not big. But yeah, just the fact that he's probably averaging 2 or 3 assists a game instead of seven or 8. And I don't think that has boded well for the offense. I think that's why the offense becomes more stagnant. Especially with, quite honestly, you have kind of 3 guys who will stop the ball a good bit. And he's a guy that really doesn't want to. He wants to move it. And so I just think the more he's involved in creating the offense, I think the better the team is. And I mean, Fox was very comfortable with that, and he knew he could get his 27 that way.
Yeah, to your point, Jer, last night, Thomas Bryant had 1 assist in 22 minutes. Domantas Sabonis in 40 minutes had no assists. Is it a matter, too, of this offense? They've added some wrinkles at the very least since Doug Christie took over. Is it a new offense, not just for the new guys that joined the team, but even for the guys that were here? Is it a new offense for everybody on the team, and is that one of the problems?
I really don't know. I mean, I've been trying to understand it a little bit. I mean, I do think it's more of adjustments for the new guys and then some of the older guys, have probably been hurt to some degree. I mean, I think Keegan Murray's playing better than he has all year, but he's not getting that many field goal attempts per se. He just is finding a way to be really good otherwise. And Keon Ellis, but Keon's just a terrific fit-in guy anyway. And which I always find amazing. He's one of the best 3-point shooters in the league, and sometimes we don't get him many 3-point shots. I don't know. I'm missing something there somewhere.
He does have a way of getting to the truth.
Yeah, he does, and I love it. I'd rather get straight to it than be sugarfooting around. I'll tell you that much. Jerry, one of the things that excuse me, I'm calling you Jerry. Let Whitey take my over.
That's okay. No, we're like we're personal friends now.
Legend Zach LaVine seems to be getting lost in not only on the offensive side, on the defensive side. How would you, if you're sitting on that sideline with the last 8 games, how would you go about trying to get Zach LaVine intertwined into the ball game on both sides of the floor?
Yeah, I do think you really got to get some call plays for him more. Because the more he handles the ball, I think the less effective he is sometimes. Never thought he was a great handler, but he is a great catch and shoot guy, escape dribble guy, one bounce or 2 or straight to the basket. But you get him trying to play off the dribble, make plays, like Monk can and has through his career. He's just not as good at it. So I think that's always a key, and it's tough for Coach Christie because it's just such a short time frame and lack of practice. I'm not trying to be a cop-out here, but I know it's true. But the only thing a coach can do is motivate his players and then utilize them correctly. And I think it's been very difficult so far to be able to figure out exactly the best way to utilize these guys. And quite honestly, it's showing up.
Coach, in my opinion, the Kings' record should be better than it is. And one of the reasons it's not is because they don't have a lot of depth at wing. And my point is not to make excuses, but I really think they miss Jake LaRavia. Would you agree?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I've really kind of become a LaRavia fan. I mean, he brings a lot of energy, and certainly he's a good defender and a scrappy guy. And, when you've got Keon and Laravia and Keegan on the floor, all of a sudden you can sort of guard somebody.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't want to get carried away, but I mean, it's kind of encouraging.
Legend, there was a conversation earlier on during the show here about Kings organization management Kings ownership kind of meddling in the basketball operations side of the floor. And I don't mean to put you on the spot, and I'm not asking you if you know that or not, but have you been in an instance where the Kings ownership, I should say, meddles so much in the basketball operations where it kind of turns the gray area a little black or red, so to say, versus, maybe they just have a quick input like, yeah, I kind of like that guy, and they leave it to the basketball operations? Have you ever seen it too much to where it's too much in the basketball operation side?
Oh, sure. I've been involved in it. Now this current ownership group, yeah, I've heard things, but I don't know.
Yeah.
And I don't want to comment on something I haven't been involved with, but certainly you hear rumors and different people saying this and that, and maybe somewhat accurate, maybe it's not. Maybe you never know if there's axes to grind or if somebody really does know. So, but does it happen? Of course, I always remember my time with Jim Thomas, and I liked the man. I really liked him, but he really brought the franchise to be involved, and we didn't see eye to eye on talent a lot. I always remember just about got fired because he wanted to draft Harold Miner the year we drafted Walt Williams. And I said, I can't do it. I said, you think he may be called Baby Jordan, but he ain't no Jordan, and fortunately for me, it turned out that Walt was a lot better, because if he had him, I'd have been back in French Lick working at one of the resorts.
So I guess one thing we could say is it's pretty common. I mean, owners are going to get involved in their teams, right?
Yeah, I mean, it varies. I always remember, a pretty good friend at the time, Jack McCloskey, was the general manager of the Bad Boy Pistons, and I'd known him since his college coaching days, and so we'd had anyway. But I always remember him telling me, and I thought it was very interesting. And he said the thing that was so key for the Pistons, he said, you'll never have a great team on the floor till you have a great team off the floor. And he said, our owner is great. He doesn't agree with what myself and Chuck always want to do, but we get to do it.
Was that Bill Davidson?
Bill Davidson, yes.
He would just sit there in his windbreaker and just he looked like a regular guy, huh?
Yeah. I mean, obviously he said the only thing that, obviously he was involved, and he'd always want to know what's going on. And certainly if big money was involved, he wanted to be assured that it wasn't wasted money, but I think I just always struck me, well, geez, of course, I always say that always was the way it was in my, as long as the athletic director and the president and the coach were on the same page, you had a great chance for success. If one of the three wasn't, it made it tougher, put it that way.
Yeah. I have a flashback question for Jared, but I don't know if you had one.
No, go ahead.
I
have one.
Oh, go ahead.
No, you didn't already teased it.
No, I had a backup.
No, you got it. I wasn't finished with the current Kings yet, but
go ahead.
A lot of people really like the defensive side of Keon Ellis's play, and we've had an opportunity to see him the last couple of years, and he looks like he could be a major player on that defensive side and more or less plays that way. Jerry, comparing him to some of the greats that you've seen, and I'm not sitting up here saying he's Dennis Rodman like on the defensive side, or Doug Christie even. Where do you think he can max out on his defensive efforts?
Well, I think he's in the Doug Christie area.
Okay.
For his age. I mean, now Doug, like say his experience level, I mean, Doug wasn't quite Doug for his first few years in the league either. Right. So, yeah, I think he's in that category. I mean, probably his spot shooting is even better. I don't think he's the complete player that Doug was, because Doug could really run an offense. and much better. And so he was a guy that could play point, and did often, because Bibby played off the ball well. But I think that's somewhat of an analogy. He's got a little bit of Tony Allen in him. He's a better offensive player than Tony, not quite as physical and tough as Tony. But Tony was one of those guys that have got a hands on a lot of balls, and you see players didn't like seeing him around on him, and Keon's getting that way a little bit. He's not physically intimidating, but his length and all really, you see guys getting ticked, get away from him.
Yeah, he's not. He could be bigger. I mean, compared to like Drew Holiday, and this is not a criticism, but an observation, that one area where Keon, I think, sometimes struggles defensively is when he's trying to check a bigger, stronger guy. That maybe is one. I don't know what you can do about that, but that's an issue sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and I agree with you. And I think that he can get bigger and stronger, and he will. I think, because Drew wasn't near as big and strong as he is now, when he came into the league. He's gotten a bit stronger, and but I think that, and that does make a difference, because Drew Holiday is tough to bully. He's got a strong body, and So, I mean, I think there's more. To me, Keon's one of those guys that I guarantee the league is watching. He's one of those guys that probably about every team in the league saying, "Oh man, we could use him."
Because he can fit with every team, right? As you pointed out earlier.
Yeah, because he doesn't need the ball to be successful. Although, I mean, he is a shot maker, but he can fit in with big time scoring guys. So that's why probably about every team in the league, whether it's an evil empire like the Lakers or anybody like that, could even use him.
If we're being nitpicky, could he improve his handle?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's a particularly good playmaker right now, and I think that's something that I think has to get better. I felt like the summer league, they tried to give him an opportunity to play the point. He wasn't very good at it, and I think that would really be important for him to get so he's comfortable entering the offense and could make good decisions on just pick and rolls and drawing kicks. That's pretty simple stuff in the league now.
Joined by the legendary Jerry Reynolds. All right, here goes my history question.
I love this.
We were talking about Moses Malone last week and his free throw percentage, which was astronomically higher than I thought ever.
His total free throws.
Free throws made. I've had the opportunity to see Moses. I know he was a guy that stayed on the boards. Absolutely. But to me, he's one of those guys where if you didn't have an opportunity to watch him, which of course I did not, he seems to get pushed down a totem pole a little bit. What's your take on Moses, Jerry?
You're 100% right. I mean, he was ferocious. And I mean that never, I don't know of a guy that just probably the other centers in the league were just intimidated by Jabbar. I mean, I swear I don't think Jabbar would get within 5 feet of him. But I mean, and he was like I say, more skilled than it looked. I mean, he was those guys that found a way to get his 15 points, 15 rebounds, and block shots. No, really, when you start talking about the top 10 centers of all time, his name probably isn't in there, but it should be. He's a two-time MVP and
three-time, Jerry. He was three-time.
Well, then we have put him right up there in the top 5. And I mean, I really think he was probably a more valuable, and a lot of people wouldn't agree because he wasn't near as pretty a player, but he was probably a more valuable player than David Robinson. Because of his ferociousness. He's kind of like a center version, a bigger, powerful center version of Kevin Garnett, that just brought it every day in every way.
Was it more or less the era he played in because he played with the, tail ends of the Waltz and then you have Kareem's and, that's because he came in mid-70s, right? Like 74, 75.
Yeah.
Yes.
Something around
ABA,
yeah. So
out of high school.
Started off in the ABA and with the Utah Stars, I think right out of high school, one of those first guys to do that, and was good right away, which, not many high schoolers, have stepped in the league other than LeBron and Amari Stoudemire and him that I can think of offhand that were kind of good day one.
Yeah, it gets forgotten here to the point you're making, Jerry. He was the MVP, Moses Malone, in 79 with the Rockets. Then it was Kareem, then Irving, and then Moses Malone 2 years in a row, 82 and 83, Rockets and Sixers. So that's 3 times he was the MVP, and then Larry won the next 3. But
wow,
Moses Malone was a 3-time MVP,
balling,
and yet people don't really know that much about him. It's a shame.
Yeah, it's a great that Jay brought him up because he really, he's he's kind of a different kind of skill set, but he was kind of the Jokic of his area, clearly the best center, at that time.
Was he the best Malone?
And it's a different thing because centers were so valuable then.
Yeah, pardon me, I didn't mean to step on you, but is he the best Malone of all time?
Ooh.
That's a great question. I think maybe he was.
I think so too. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a close call because Carl was, you could still make the case he's the best power forward of all time. He and Tim Duncan. I don't know, but yeah. Of the world of Malones, Jeff wouldn't make the list. I say that.
Sorry, Jeff. All right, we've taken up enough of your time. Thank you as always, Coach. We appreciate it.
Well, thank you guys. Take care.
All right, yeah. And then Karl Malone was a 2-time MVP. One of the things I think about when I think of Moses Malone, Jay, and I think you have mentioned how we don't know, about players, the environment that they come from. We have no idea sometimes. I remember reading a story about Moses Malone. I think he grew up in Virginia, and I read a story about where he played, the playground where he played. And there was a guy that played there that they called the mailman. And a writer, somebody asked, why do you call that guy the mailman? And the answer was, because he stabbed the mailman.
Wow.
So it's like a whole different environment than most of us would. Yeah.
Dang.
Moses Malone.
He's one of those guys, generations after he played for a long time too, 20, 21 seasons, 22 seasons, somewhere around there, that you hear people who got to watch him and he was definitely a star. You hear people, he's one of the best in the league. You hear people, he got the championship in 83. I thought two times MVP, 3 times MVP. You hear these things about Moses Malone and people are like, man, he was good. But when you start to get into the pantheon of, like Jerry talked about, centers, and then you get into top 75 and 50 and 20 and things like that, to me, he's always one of those guys where it's like, what about Moses Malone? Oh, man, I forgot about Moses.
Yeah.
To the people that got to watch him and be around basketball like you or like Jerry, people highly respect Moses. They definitely highly respect his game, what he brought to the game, and he was successful. But I think when you talk to people, and this is just my ignorance because I didn't have the opportunity to see Moses Malone play, as an adult or even as a child, but he kind of compares to like a David Robinson for me, like a Patrick Ewing, someone who was very good, if not, they were great. They were all stars. They're a Hall of Famer. They're top 75. But for whatever reason, they're never mentioned in that top flight of, 10.
Yeah. And another thing about the way the game changed from 1966 all the way through 80, the MVP was a center.
Man.
Then it was Julius Erving in 81. Then it was Moses, another center for 2 years. Then it was Larry for 3, and then Magic and Michael and Magic for 2 more. So that's part of the incredible impact that guys like, Julius, but mostly Larry Bird and Magic Johnson and Michael Jordan had. It's like the game started to become less center-centric with that.
Now look where we're at today.
Yeah. Centers are like, you don't need a center.
No,
center's a dime a dozen. Yeah. Our thanks to Jerry Reynolds, and thank you for sticking around for that. When we come back, Coach Christie's selling a playoff push, but are fans and players buying that? Next with the Drive Guys on Sacktown Sports.
The sewer system. It's probably the last thing on your mind, and that's okay. Because at the Sacramento Area Sewer District, it's our first priority. As the region's largest sewer utility, we own and maintain thousands of miles of sewer pipe. And our job is to get to your sewer problem before it interrupts your life. So whether you've got a slow drain or a backup, call us first, day or night. The Sacramento Area Sewer District. It's a dirty job, but we're happy to do it.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
Progressive knows if you have to choose between everyday life and your RV wins.
What, are you going to take the RV to the lake or clean out your closet? RV wins! Putting the dishes away or taking the RV camping? RV wins! Cleaning the fridge or taking a trip to the beach? RV wins!
You might want to clean the fridge real quick because, mold.
We clean out the fridge, then take the RV out.
With Progressive, you can bundle your RV with your home or auto and save with a discount and spend more time enjoying those savings in your RV. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states and situations.
Big savings are back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. New Hondas are piling up, and that means big savings for you.
Looking to own or lease? During the spring sales event, drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our number one priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
The word for has been used in golf for centuries, and its origins can be traced to the Middle Ages. According to historians, the word for is derived from the Old English word meaning before or in front of. In those days, the term was used to warn people of incoming arrows during archery practice. Another theory suggests that for has military connections. During the 19th century, artillery officers would yell for to warn their troops of incoming shells. This practice may have carried over to golf. The most popular theory, however, is that for has Scottish roots. In Scotland, forecaddy was used to describe a person who walked ahead of the golfers to spot where their ball landed. The forecaddy would then yell for to warn the golfers if their ball was heading towards another golfer or a spectator. Today, for is used to warn golfers or spectators of an errant shot. Whether it's derived from the Middle Ages, military practice, or Scottish roots, for has become an integral part of the game of golf, and now you know why. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
Saving for retirement was tough enough for us.
Yes, and navigating markets can be challenging at times.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we take a disciplined approach with your investments.
Tell us more about that.
We take an active approach to money management, positioning your portfolio for opportunities we see ahead.
So all your clients get the same portfolio?
No. We tailor your portfolio to your individual goals and needs.
What about communication? We don't like being left in the dark.
We check in regularly to keep you informed on the markets and your portfolio.
Which means you'll help us stay on track.
Yes. Our goal is your comfortable retirement. And as a fiduciary, we always put your interest first, because we do better when you do better. At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Here'th my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times? You're playing the lute.
Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide, based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
At Rocket, we believe everyone deserves their shot at the American dream. So if you're feeling locked out of home ownership, we're here to give you back the keys. We're opening doors, breaking down walls, and doing everything we can to turn renters into owners. And we're not going to stop until we help everyone home. To find out more, visit rocket.com. Rocket, own the dream.
Waitay here, reminding you that not all grills are created equal. When buying a new grill, every detail matters. For March, grab a $149 gift with purchase of every new Napoleon Prestige stainless steel grill, including a pizza lover starter kit and much more. More March savings include up to $79 off Rogue models. Napoleon grills are built different, built better, built to last, with a lifetime warranty and premium stainless steel that boasts quality. See how Napoleon will help you achieve the perfect grilling experience. Visit Green Acres Nursery today with your best selection of Napoleon grills and accessories.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head, and the total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy, pretty much hands off. They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
You've heard the saying, penny wise, pound foolish, right? It means you do something that will save you a little bit right now, just pennies, but that ends up costing you pounds in the end.
People put off tuning up their furnace because they don't want to take the time or spend the money to get it done.
But it only takes 90 minutes and costs just $87, which is just pennies compared to the huge problems and expenses that can rack up if you don't get your furnace tuned up.
You'll also save money on your energy bills, and your system will last longer.
So don't be penny wise and pound foolish. Call Bell Brothers for a precision tune-up and professional cleaning today.
Our number is 916-444-1234, or find us online at thenosurpriseguys.com.
The No Surprise Guys, Bell Brothers.
As seen on Crazy Rich Asians, Silicon Valley, and more, it's Jimmy O Yang, Big and Tall Tour.
She was like, babe, what's your love language? I'm like, what? A love language could be words of affirmation.
I was raised by Asian parents. Their love language is verbal abuse.
Saturday, April 12th, the venue at Thunder Valley. For tickets, visit ThunderValleyResort.com. Don't miss them, Sacramento. Jimmy O Yang, Big and Tall Tour.
Your local sports leader in the 916.
KHD1 Sacramento. KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios. Sacktown Sports 1140. Live and local, it's the Drive Guys. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sacktown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sacktown Sports app.
Thank you once again to Jerry Reynolds for joining us. I think we might have run a little long with Jerry. I texted him, said, sorry if we ran long, had too much fun, and he said he loves it. So
shouts out to the
and I love the questions that you ask him. I had a backup player. I wasn't sure if you had a throwback player. And I just love yours was I had John Havlicek, and yours Moses Malone was way better. So thank you.
Oh, no, thank you for having my back there, brother.
Yeah,
I'll
I
practice
enjoy that.
Yeah, I do too. It's something is becoming a part of our weekly conversation, and it's going to continue. I'll say that.
You can just hear, and Jerry always does a great job with everything. But you ask him about those players of the past, and his voice almost changes a little. And I feel like we're all going back there.
Yeah,
and he's saying, "Let me tell you about this guy."
And who better to have you describe who their player is, or give you some inklings on who those players are. Like I said, Moses, I caught the tail end of Moses. By the time I was able to watch, or not able, but I was watching
when
basketball.
You saw him, was he wearing goggles? Because that was at the end of his career.
Yes, I was. He was Kurt Rambis style. Yeah, absolutely. But early 90s, Moses as a kid, we talking about 6-7 years old. I didn't know Moses Malone. 82 Malone, Moses, 80 Moses. So I just knew that's an OG right there. Tree Rollins style, So I always like to, And I'll say this about Moses Malone. When you talk to people who are around and have the opportunity to see him, they say that's a bad boy. Not like he was one of the best. He was one of the stars of the league. He was one of the guys that you had to pay attention to. And you heard Jerry just say it. Look, there were guys that were in the league that were considered stars who didn't even want to go against Moses, and probably for good reason. He was a baller.
And speaking of Karl Malone, this has always been part of the Sacramento Kings history. You go back to the 1985 draft, because Jerry said Moses Malone might have been better than Karl Malone, which is saying a lot. The 1985 draft, the Kings had the 6th pick, so it went Patrick Ewing, Wayman Tisdale. They ended up getting him. Benoit Benjamin, Xavier McDaniel, Koncak, and then the Kings took Joe Klein. Going after him was Chris Mullen, 7th. Detlef Schrempf, Charles Oakley, Ed Pinckney, they ended up with Keith Lee, Kenny Green. Karl Malone was a 13th pick.
Man.
And there was some people at the time who say that back then, my brother says this, Phantom says this, I believe Phantom. He says, we were telling him, we went to the draft and we were telling him, you got to take Karl Malone. So you see, it's part of the Kings.
Nobody was screaming Chris Mullen?
I don't know.
Nobody was screaming. He was a star coming out of college.
Well, I don't know why. I guess they thought, we have shooters, we have forwards, we have Eddie Johnson, we got Reggie Theus. We need a big guy.
That's fine.
Yeah. What do you think of Doug now selling this playoff push? He talked about it last night. Somebody asked him, I'm not sure who it was, and Doug started to get up and go, and then someone said they had one more, and Doug asked what? Someone asked him about motivating the team, and he said, look, if I got to motivate the team right now, we got a problem. He said, we're in a playoff push. So that's not a concern right now. If we got to motivate the players when we're in a playoff push, we got bigger issues. So do you look at it that way, Jay? Are the Kings in a playoff push right now?
Yeah, they're a play-in push. And if you are a coach and a player, you sure better be saying that. I don't want any player and or coach saying, you know what, we in a tankathon push.
Yeah,
we're in a tank push. No, especially, let me also say this is common sense, and I know it's not so common, but the fact of the matter is Coach Doug Christie doesn't say contract behind it. It says interim next to it.
Right.
And so you better be on a playoff push. You better be, telling everyone that is listening, no, I'm looking to get higher and go further than we are right now. You better say you're in the playoff push.
Yeah, I like that, the way that's framed, because it is, we're pretty much in the play-in, but the point of the play-in is to get into the playoffs, and this is all part of that.
Yeah.
I don't think that motivation or playing hard enough, I don't think it's a problem for the Kings. I don't think that's it. You can always say that, Drapes made the point yesterday against Orlando. There were times when guys didn't get their hands up, and that's defensively you have to give more effort, but I don't think this team is anywhere near quitting on Doug. I just think they play sometimes in a way that shows that they're just not sure what as a group they're doing.
Yeah.
I think there's a difference.
I think you're spot on in that. I think if you just hear how some of the guys react to the situation, you reacted to the coaching, and you hear how they talk about within the press conferences and interviews, they're not done playing. This team isn't looking around in the locker room saying, hey, listen, fellas,
1, 2,
we're
3,
tanking.
Cancun.
Yeah, we're out.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I think they're still looking around sometimes throughout the locker room like, dang, what happened? What literally just happened to us? They're still trying to figure out some of these, stagnation offenses that they're running, some of these leads they're giving up. And that's what you hear these guys talk about. You're like, man, we got to be better. We need to do a better job. We have to do these things. We can't do these things. You hear the players consistently talk about that. And if I'm listening and I'm trying to decipher and sift through what I'm hearing, I'm really just hearing a team that doesn't know what they are. Every day they're figuring out. It's a box of Cracker Jacks. We just looking through that joint and see what's going on. And depending what comes out of the boxes, hey, we might win, we might lose. I think they're all still trying to figure out, what's the next play and what's the next day going to carry for this squad. But I don't think they've quit at all. I don't see that.
No, I don't either. I know sometimes it looks like when you're getting beat like they did against Orlando, it looks like you're not trying. And sometimes it's not that you're not trying to say you're just getting walloped.
Yes.
By a younger, faster, stronger team. Certainly on that day, or Orlando was that. I think Zach LaVine could be used differently. The Kings, again, this gets back to something we talked about earlier in the show. It seems like down the stretch, I'm sure you'd agree with this, the Kings seem to go away from their strengths. Zach LaVine so often, how many times have we seen him get the ball poked out of his hands from behind, Jay? It happens all the time.
Yeah.
And I think they need to, and if I'm right, I'm sure they know this, but I think they need to, like Terry was saying, play him off the ball, run him off more screens, and get him open for catch and shoots. That's what they should be doing. And for some reason, they either can't figure that out, or, teams obviously they're focusing their defense on Zach LaVine. But Domas, he's not doing the things that he does well. So those are the things they have to figure out. They have time to figure it out. Last night, it's like, hello, you see what happens down the stretch? You're probably, if you're going to get to the playoffs, you're going to have to go through that again, where you have a lead, probably on the road in the fourth quarter. So you have to learn from what happened last night. They have to be better. It's confusing why they haven't figured that out to this point.
Yeah, it is. It's frustrating. You hear Coach Christie, you hear the players talk about it. They're searching for answers. They're looking for answers. You even talked about it, I believe, last week. You heard Coach Christie say a few different things that sounded eerily familiar, like Coach Mike Brown said. I don't know, Whitey. I truly don't know. And I think, without driving myself crazy, I think I've come to fruition in the form of this team, for whatever reason, unless they just flip the switch or just clicks, or, it's night and day, so to say. This team is going to struggle for the next 8 games and in the play-in game to figure out how they close out games. I think they've been better in the beginning of games in first quarter situations. It could have happened organically because Malik, was ill and Keon has started. I'm not sure. They've definitely started differently. I'll say that. Eye of the beholder, right? Some people could say they started the games the same. I just think the start of each game has looked a little bit better than it was 3 weeks ago. I'll leave it at that. The end of the game, though, looks very familiar. It looks like they're all searching for answers. And when you're looking for answers, it's hot potato, and they either find DeMar DeRozan, or it's a last shot at the end of a shot clock situation. So I'm just not going to, me personally, I'm talking for myself now. I'm not going to consistently believe that this team is going to be better in the fourth quarter until it's done, until I see it.
I know with this team, you can't take anything for granted, but I'm going to anyway. You have an opportunity here. You have the next 2 games should be basically like glorified scrimmages, right? You have a chance to work on some things. I know there are some skeptics, and I understand because I've watched the games too. Somebody going, what? With this team?
Right.
But come
Nothing's
on.
a gimme.
Charlotte's won 19 games, and they don't have your guy anymore.
Nope.
LaMelo's done, and the Wizards are 16-59.
Yeah.
So
gotta
there you
go get these 2.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you may have a chance to work on some things and work out some of these kinks. Or at least get a chance to just feel better about yourself as a team.
Yeah, you have to get these 2. You drop one of these, whew, we are in emergency level situations.
Yeah. In terms of the play-in and everything, it probably wouldn't affect you that much. But I think in terms of your psyche and your self-worth, if you lost one of these games, that might damage them beyond repair. I would love to see them get into the play-in and end up beating the Clippers, because I don't think they've been the same since they lost that game to the Clippers. Ever since they lost that game down there, they haven't been quite the same. Play them, and maybe if you had to beat them to get into the playoffs, maybe that would exorcise some of those demons.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't either, but I'd love to see it.
I don't know. Yeah, why? As soon as you think you're like, I kind of got my thumb on the pulse of what's going on with this team, they flip on you.
That is 100% true.
I don't know.
No true words have ever been spoken, even by anyone in the 707.
Yes, sir.
Oh, we got a question about 707 too.
Okay.
We got to ask you.
For sure.
Let's take a quick time out here. My bad. When we come back, how the 49ers and the NFL will look different next season. Next on Sacktown Sports.
Stay up to date on Sacramento sports. Join the Sacktown Sports 1140 newsletter. Visit SacktownSports.com.
With 25 award-winning years in Northern California, Ashton & Price is your local injury law firm. Pro attorney tip: if a firm presents as local, but they're in LA, red flag. If your first consultation is not with a lawyer, big red flag. At Ashton & Price, your first consult is with a local attorney, and if serious injury prevents travel, a lawyer will come to you. Still not enough? George Washington's my uncle. At Ashton & Price, no red flags, just red, white, and blue.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
Hey, everybody. Kyle Draper here for Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. You know, sometimes you just don't want to buy brand new. I get it. I understand. Sometimes you just want to try something out. Maybe go for a lease. Well, Mercedes-Benz of Stockton is the place for you. They have great lease offers starting at $297 a month. That's right, $297 a month. You know, for over 30 years, Mercedes-Benz of Stockton has been there for the community. Whether you're buying, whether you're leasing, they're the ones you can trust. So head on down to Mercedes-Benz of Stockton right now and check out their fleet of leased vehicles. They have certified pre-owned vehicles as well, starting at just 3.49% on select models from 2021, 22, and 23. So head on down to Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. Tell them your boy Drape sent you, and trust me, they'll take care of you. They're a partner you can trust. Or you can always go online at mbofstockton.com. That's mbofstockton.com.
If you've been looking for an SUV that combines luxury, comfort, and off-road capability, look no further than the most awarded SUV ever, the Jeep Grand Cherokee at Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. With 470 foot-pounds of torque, a 6,000-pound towing capacity, great gas mileage, the 2025 Jeep Grand Cherokee at Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is the perfect SUV for all your needs. See for yourself why people are coming from all over to Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Centrally located across from Hagen Oaks Golf Course, it's the place where a handshake still means something.
Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday. Sacktown Sports.
The NFL's passed some new rules. So the league and the 49ers as well could look a little different next year. We'll look at that in just a moment here. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Right now we're going to enter the world of tin. The thing is with tin, it's a sliding doors moment, right, Jay? You don't know where you're going to end up. You don't know where tin is going to take us. So take a deep breath and let's welcome to the show Tin. Hey, Tin, thanks for hanging. What's up?
Yo, what's up, buddy?
Hey, what can we do for you?
Hey,
you okay? Are you all right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, to answer Jay's question about the ownership. Hey, so I just seen the Kelly Green lit up bridge.
Yeah.
In Sacramento. And to have that next to the purple beam, green and purple together, the Joker colors. The Joker is tatted on DeMar DeRozan's body.
Mm.
And guess what? He's the only current Hall of Famer on this team. And so I feel like they got to make this push.
Gotcha, Tin. Thank you. I had not thought of that. Purple and green are the Joker colors, and DeMar DeRozan has that Heath Ledger Joker on his arm there. What do you think of that, Jay? What do you make of that?
Hey, shouts out to Tin. Diving deep, baby. Finding anything that you can tie some success, hope, to as a Sacramento Kings fan. Listen, I'm all for it right now.
Yeah.
I'll be completely honest.
Yeah, since Tin mentioned baseball, I know I said we're going to talk about the NFL, and we are. Jay, I just happened to see this, and I'll just throw it in here because we just are touching on baseball. The torpedo bats, which now all the rage, and Ellie De La Cruz went off with a torpedo bat yesterday. The Yankees destroyed the Brewers over the weekend. Giancarlo Stanton now has sore elbows.
Yeah.
He says he's not going to blame it on the torpedo bat.
It ain't the bat. That elbow.
Swinging those torpedo bats.
Man, ain't got
Might not be all they're
that.
cracked up to be, Jay.
Yes, well, you ask some of the guys that's swinging them, they out there swatting stuff with it. Yes, Stanton's got a history of injuries. Big fella. He'll be back.
Yeah.
Sore elbow and never hurt nobody.
The cool thing about the torpedo bats, I didn't know this, maybe you knew. Obviously, it's about putting the most weight and thickness on the sweet spot, but not everyone has the same sweet spot. So the Yankees went in and they did an analysis of everybody's swing.
Yeah.
So like your bat might be different. Your torpedo bat might be different than mine.
Yeah, I think I sent you guys the initial story that I saw,
You did,
I believe,
yes.
on ESPN. And then, of course, that takes you down the rabbit hole. And the creator of the torpedo bat now works for the Marlins, no longer in the Yankees organization. But it's
How do you let the guy who invented the torpedo bat go?
I'm with you. Yeah, how
To
does
the
that happen?
Marlins.
I know. How does that happen? You're supposed to keep that technology in-house.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's proprietary information.
You know, I thought about that too, but I was like, maybe just he came up with the bat and you don't need him anymore. You know,
We got your bat. See you later.
yeah, we good. We got
Go
the
to the Marlins.
technology.
Yeah.
So it's guys from MIT, and I should get his name right. It's I believe it's Aaron. And he's got is like Aaron or Learn Hard or something like that. What's his name?
Aaron Leanhard.
Leanhard.
Yes, you're
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Aaron Leanhard.
I should pay my respects and make sure I get that gentleman name right.
Mhm.
But Mr. Leanhard, he came up, he's got a history of technology, MIT. I believe he worked for NASA for a quick minute and then jumped over and wanted to be a part of the organization for the Yankees. Yeah, there's no way. I would have kept him
To
in
the
house.
Marlins? Why didn't somebody
Of
else
all
sign him?
places, the Marlins.
Yeah.
Marlins ain't gonna know what to do with that. The type of technology.
Right.
Marlins are struggling.
Huh. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Mitch has been hanging on. Hey, Mitch, what's going on? How are you?
Good. How you guys doing?
Good. What can we do for you today?
Boy, these torpedo bats, 48, 50 years too late. I guess I'm aging myself.
Oh, it's too bad. You think you could have made to cause some damage with a torpedo bat, Mitch?
Yeah, maybe I would have stressed a double to a triple. I'll never know.
Yeah.
I guess you don't want to say Aaron Judge in your neck of the woods because, you guys should have, grabbed him. And I still wish my Dodgers had. I don't know where they get this money. I like the Ohtani, but they give up about $500 million for 2 pitches, maybe even more.
Did you say your Dodgers?
3 pitches.
Mitch, did you call them your Dodgers?
He did.
Oh, no. If they were my Dodgers, I guess I wouldn't be calling you. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
My Dodgers, yeah. I root for the Dodgers. And with the money they're spending, like it's going out of style.
Wow.
But I wanted to keep Cody and Corey, especially, go after Harper, even George. But, they have their ways. There was a good trade with Mookie Betts and Freeman. But I wanted to say, did you say the 49ers are going to change the uniforms again?
No, thank you for bringing that up. Thank you. And please don't ever call again if you're a Dodger fan.
Let me say this. And shouts out
My
to Dodgers.
Dodgers?
Yeah, I was just kind of,
You let that go, and you showed a lot of restraint.
It did. It took a lot from me because I caught it the first time, and I was like, Mitch, the Dodger guy? But I know he's from New York area.
Maybe he's from Brooklyn or something.
Yeah, so I thought maybe he has some ties, family, whatever. But I was getting ready to cut him again, second time, because how could you possibly be a Dodger fan calling up here talking about you wanted more? You are mad that they spent money?
Yeah.
Oh, come on, Mitch. You better than that, big time. A Dodger fan is complaining in 2025?
But as far as the 49ers different look, Mitch, no, I didn't mean they're changing their uniform. They may look different in that they're bringing in a veteran after the draft to challenge Jake Moody. So they could have a different kicker. Meanwhile, what else is going on with the league meetings today? The NFL has tabled the vote on the tush push. 16 teams voted in favor. That's not enough. So they have tabled the vote on the tush push ban. So that hasn't happened yet, but they're still looking at that. In the meantime, the NFL, as we mentioned earlier, they're changing the kickoff rules. So starting next year, a kickoff that goes into the end zone as a touchback will be brought out to the 35-yard line. So they're trying to discourage teams from kicking it into the end zone so they can get more returns. See, the NFL is at cross purposes on this. They almost legislated the kickoff out of the game because they wanted to make the game safer. But then people said, this is boring. So now they're trying to get the kickoff back in, and they're trying to do it in a way that they claim is safe, which is basically impossible. So they're trying to do all these silly things. I think we should just go back to the old kickoff, Jay.
Go back to the regular
35-yard line.
Yeah,
if my kicker, Jake Moody or whomever, kicks it in the end zone, I'm cutting his ass. 35-yard line.
You will squib kicks all around the league?
Yes. I don't want to let the other team start at the 35. Also, the overtime rules are changing. And now, they always say, both teams get the ball, but that's not necessarily true.
Yep.
They're changing it now so that even if we're in overtime and you score a touchdown first time you have the ball, I still get the ball back.
Yeah, and they're bringing down the minutes, correct? From 15 to 10?
See that? Is it the other way around? Yeah, they've changed. Let's see. I have it right here. Meanwhile, the Steelers say they are still waiting on Aaron Rodgers. By the way, let's see.
Out passing with DK Metcalf.
Yes. And the owner of the Steelers says, well, we thought we'd have something by now, but everything supposedly is pointed in the right direction. So we'll still wait a little longer. They project to the NFL that the return rate will go to 70 to 75%. The return rate was 32.8% in 2024. And Denver Broncos special teams coach projected a 2025 return rate of 70 to 75%, up from 32.8. So we are going to get, at least that's the plan, more returns. And I'm looking for the rule that you mentioned, Jay, on the overtime. Let's see. Rule change, alliance philosophy, previous change overtime, remain limited to 10 minutes. Okay, yes. Yeah, but this will give each team a guaranteed possession in overtime during the regular season. Yeah, previously it was first team to score a touchdown. So some cosmetic changes. But and also we had the owner of the 49ers, Jed York, saying, the reason we had to get rid of all those guys is kind of because we had to pay Brock Purdy, which I don't know why he said that.
Being upfront and honest, I guess.
I guess so.
Might not be that that Scottish team you bought, that soccer team.
They say that's totally different.
I get it.
Totally different account.
I got you.
Yeah.
But I understand. It's different bank account, huh?
I know it looks bad, but it's because we got to pay this guy. I just don't know if they needed to do that.
Well, everybody got to pay their QB. It's part of it. We all know that.
Yeah, that's true. Kind of went without saying, didn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. You didn't need to talk about it.
Yeah. So that's how the NFL and the 49ers could look different next year. When we come back, Sacramento fans did their part last night. Can they do it again tonight? Next on Sacktown Sports.
Come check out Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room with the most variety of table games in the region in a safe and friendly environment. Plenty of well-lit parking available, conveniently located in downtown Sacramento. And remember, Capital Casino has the best food, the best service, and the best action. 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento. For more information, log on to capital-casino.com, and please gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Well, when our old heater collapsed with a heavy sigh, we needed a new one. That there are so many HVAC companies out there. How to choose. A friend recommended we check out Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating at leesair.com, and I'm glad we listened. Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating was ready to come out the day we called. They treated us with a lot of respect, from the person who answered the phone to the guys who installed our new HVAC unit. So it comes down to this. Why choose Lee's? They offer a 100% satisfaction guarantee. They get 4.8 stars on Google. So, yeah, a lot of friends recommend them. I just gave them a 5-star review myself. They've won awards with their service. They've spent more than 40 years serving the Valley's HVAC heating and plumbing needs. You can trust Lee's with installation and repair of your AC, furnace, and water heater, plus residential and commercial plumbing repair and commercial HVAC services too. Find out more at leesair.com. Check out their mission statement, which is all about serving customers and community, and check on their $99 HVAC tune-up special. Let Lee's take care of you the way they took care of me, treating us like family while setting us up with an HVAC system that has improved our quality of life and the air that we are breathing. Literally. Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating, license number 635355.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
I love this time of year when the azaleas begin to bloom and the singing birds' sweet dawn chorus remind us that blue skies and sunshine are at hand. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. In sports, the definition for the word master is one who's achieved a high degree of skill, and that will be on display in the highly anticipated golf tournament. In the furniture business, a master is a highly skilled craftsman, an artist even, whose work is coveted by those who appreciate design, quality, and durability. John Keyes was the mastermind of Naturewood Home Furnishings. He knew that you wanted your home to reflect your personal style, whether that was a plain coffee table or a masterpiece for you to enjoy forever. That's why when you walk into Naturewood Home Furnishings, you'll find the largest and best selection of the highest quality home furnishings in Northern California. Masterful. Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
Sacramento's premier country music festival, Country in the Park, is coming back May 16th and 17th at Cal Expo with Bailey Zimmerman, Billy Currington, Cole Wetzel, Nate Smith, and more. You'll enjoy food trucks, rock walls, and a mechanical bull, line dancing, and more. Single-day GA tickets start at $52 at CITPFest.com. Country in the Park, May 16th and 17th with Paul Mitchell, The School, Sacramento, and Stoney's Rock and Rodeo. Find out more at CITPFest.com.
Afternoon home for Kings talk and so much more. The Drive Guys on Sacktown Sports.
Sending this one out to the Kings last night with nothing but love and support. They couldn't get it right down the stretch, Jay. Kings just couldn't get it right. Over 40 years in Sacramento, too often the Kings just couldn't get it right. But we've got the play-in ahead of us. Who knows, maybe the playoff and what's probably going to be a very active summer for the Sacramento Kings, so fingers crossed we end up in a good place through all of that. We've been talking a lot about the 707 today because Jay said terrible things about the 707.
Don't say that.
No, you didn't say that. I actually did kind of cast aspersions at Petaluma in the North Bay, which I shouldn't have done, and I want to walk that.
Got love for the
707, the whole
man.
707 is fabulous.
You know that.
But you said that we were talking about Petaluma. You said off the air you thought Petaluma had a slogan you can remember?
Yeah, slogan's either the city of eggs or the city of chickens.
Mm-hmm.
Something of that nature.
Ramsey said he looked it up and he came up with what, Ramsey?
City of eggs.
Petaluma is a city of eggs.
Yeah, city of eggs. I knew it's one of the two. You drive through there, you see the sign.
Really?
You're like, what is that? City of eggs, city of chickens. It was one of the two.
Uh-huh.
I knew it had something to do with the yard bird.
Yeah, you still miss the whole city of trees sign, don't you?
Oh, I do, yeah. Matter of fact, every time we talk about it, I feel like I just need to connect over there with Visit Sacramento and give them a piece of my mind.
Mm-hmm.
But I got love for the family over there, Visit Sacramento.
We're the Farm Fork capital.
Yeah, but it's still City of Trees on mine.
It is.
Yeah, no doubt.
It should be.
The breath of oxygen.
Yeah, you can change the sign on the water tower, but it's still a city of trees, no matter what you call it.
Absolutely. We can be both.
Yes.
What's wrong with being both?
Right.
You put the city of trees on the water tower, and you can put the farm to fork somewhere downtown or on the bridge or one of the bridges. So, put it somewhere.
Put it under the bridge, or under the water, if you want. Under the water, under the bridge.
Yeah, put it on
where you want to put it. You being the honorary commissioner of Sacramento,
absolutely.
Is that your title?
Yeah. You know that it is, brother.
What did you think of the way Sacramento fans came out last night to support baseball and the A's?
Oh, they did their thing, Whitey. I didn't have an opportunity to go out. I know you didn't have the opportunity to go out as you're a busy man, and I understand that.
Plus, it was 48 degrees out there.
Come on, man, you're from the 707. That ain't got nothing to do with you.
But when we played Little League in Vallejo, it was so windy, and the Marine Lair would come in. Mom used to sit in the car in the outfield. She wouldn't even sit in the bleachers.
Super
smart. And then she'd be listening to the Giants game. And then when you made a good play, parents would honk their horns. They wouldn't get out. They were there. She was always there.
Yeah.
But it was like,
I like that. I like
'cause it was too cold.
Understandable. Had you guys and gals out there at freezing below temperature almost. Yeah, that's cold blood. What little league was this? So I can report them.
East Vallejo.
Yeah, East
Little
Vallejo
League.
Little League. I'm gonna report their ass. Yeah.
It made us tougher, Jay. It made us tougher. And Mom was always there.
Yeah, shouts out.
Yeah, there was times we went to my brother's game. I stayed in the car with Mom, listening to the Giants game on the radio. Hey, just made a nice catch.
Did you lean over, Mom? Let me get this one.
I don't think she ever let me. No.
I mean, they showed up and showed out last night. Sacramento fans, Sacramento sports fans, A's fans, however you want to, whatever you want to call them. I just thought it was a great atmosphere from what I could see from all the videos, all the pictures. You saw the dignitaries, up and out them out there at the ballpark. I really appreciate the fact that we can get on here. I can get on here and I can politic for Sacramento when it comes to sports. And then you get to see the fans actually show up and show out. And so highly proud, super proud of Sacramento doing what we normally do here, the city of trees. And I don't think it's going to change. If you look around and you look at some of these you try to make an effort to get some of these tickets, they're hard to come by. I'll tell you that much. I think my first game, I was invited to a game May 11th.
Okay.
I believe May 11th or 12th. That may be my first game.
That's a week after your birthday.
Yeah. And actually, I should tell you, I'm probably be taking off that week. So, let me put that out there. I'm on my Kyle Draper movement real quick.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be going to Hawaii.
Which island?
The wife is surprising me. So I have no clue.
All right.
Yeah, I have no clue at the point. So just a blessing, but it was a great atmosphere last night from everything that I could tell and everything I could see. What was your take on the way the fans showed up in Sacramento last night?
I agree with you. Fans produced. I mean, and just real quick here before we get back to that, Campy in the chat says, Whitey, I bet Phantom's getting a big kick out of the torpedo bats. Phantom probably remembers using a wagon wheel spoke as a bat during his youth. Maybe so, Campy.
Yeah,
he could hit. Phantom could hit.
He could swing it.
He could rake.
I thought he was a hooper.
Yes.
He did both.
Yes.
Ooh, was Phantom the athlete of the family?
He was among them.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was gonna say
no, he accomplished things I didn't accomplish. He played fast pitch softball, and he would play third base, and they'd hit him a shot, and he would wait for the runner to get really close to first
and fire it
on him. Gun it.
That's right.
And then the first baseman would drop it. He'd go, "Gah!" I remember watching.
Who was the first baseman? Anybody we know?
No.
Oh, okay.
I
All
don't know
right.
his
Yeah.
name,
All
but
right. Cool.
I'm not gonna say his name, but I remember watching, going, just catch it and throw it over there, and then he's out.
Nah, man, you got to hit your Matt Williams double pump.
I mean, he's showing off that hose, but it's kind of a little hot dog in it.
Where'd they play at?
They played like their base league was Vallejo, but they would play a lot of tournaments and stuff. It was, they were really good.
I like that. I'm gonna have to ask Phantom one day about his endeavors, fast pitch softball.
Yeah, he's really good.
Man, did you play at all?
A little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, and then it kind of by the time I was even in my 20s, it just wasn't played anymore. People stopped playing it.
It is one of those things where it's kind of
just faded away.
Yeah, it's not that big of the scene right now, right? It's more slow pitch. Yeah.
But I did have 4 hits in a city league game. It was like 4C or something, but I was only like 16 or something. I was an illegal player. I was underage. Underage, I had a 4-hit night.
Yeah, you faked an ID or what happened?
Yeah, they just let me play.
Okay, I like that. No problem. Me nor you were out at the ballpark last night. Ramsey had an opportunity to go out there and check out the atmosphere. Ramsey, what was your take on it, my brother?
Fortunately enough, my dad took me out because it was an early birthday present to me. Shout out to him. I appreciate it. And
let me guess, you're taking your birthday off too.
My birthday's already off, but yes, I am. I may be at the Giants game for my birthday over the weekend, but yeah, my dad took me for an early birthday present. Fortunate enough, found tickets, sat right behind home plate, took in the entire atmosphere, and both of us, seeing that he spent plenty of time in Chicago, went to school in Chicago. We're a fan of both the A's and the Cubs, so with this opportunity, we took it upon ourselves. There really wasn't an empty seat in the house. it was standing room only, even on the grass area, and people were just enjoying the atmosphere. So, I mean,
yeah,
okay, it was 18-3. Okay, the Cubs won 18-3 and took advantage of it. I can check something off my baseball bingo bucket list. I saw a cycle in person for the first time.
How about that?
By the Cubs catcher Carson Kelly.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, it was a nice atmosphere, and it just felt good to have another major league sport here in Sacramento. And for however long it's here, take advantage of Sacramento, take advantage of the opportunity, and go enjoy it. For whether you are an A's fan or you have the opportunity to see whatever your favorite team is, go out and enjoy it. It's a good time, and it's another major league sport that we need to show representation to, like Sacramento always does.
You know, I've been kind of skeptical of the whole thing from the jump, but I agree with this from Mark Kotze. He said, I thought the energy was great. When we started the game, you could feel the energy. Obviously, it's tough when you get down in a game like that, but the fans continued to stay behind us. We obviously felt that support, and just watching on TV, like you say, Jay, we talked to Evan Drellich today, and you can, quibble with this or that. Some of it didn't look right, but as far as the support from the fans, you could tell even watching on TV, they brought it last night.
It was thicker than the Sunday newspaper.
Really impressively.
Yeah, definitely. And it wasn't the pleasantry. The weather wasn't as pleasant as it possibly could be. Just imagine as we get a little further in not the 100-degree weathers, but that springtime feel right in between.
I think we're supposed to be in the mid-70s next week. So
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, now that's when I hit the ballpark right there.
We got Los Padres and the Metropolitans coming in.
You'll be there, right? You're in attendance
Monday and Tuesday.
You and your brown and your gold?
We'll see.
Oh, come on, man.
I got an old Padre hat that's blue. I don't know if I'll be wearing the brown and gold. But I'll be,
You'll be
I'll be representing.
Okay, you're gonna be in that Gary Sheffield Padre blue.
Maybe so.
Okay,
maybe so. Ramsey, you up for Whitey's Wayback Machine quiz?
Most definitely.
All right, we got a matchup next, Jay against Ramsey, as we wrap things up. Drive Guys, Sacktown Sports.
Saving for retirement was tough enough for us.
Yes, and navigating markets can be challenging at times.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we take a disciplined approach with your investments.
Tell us more about that.
We take an active approach to money management, positioning your portfolio for opportunities we see ahead.
So all your clients get the same portfolio?
No, we tailor your portfolio to your individual goals and needs.
What about communication? We don't like being left in the dark.
We check in regularly to keep you informed on the markets and your portfolio.
Which means you'll help us stay on track.
Yes, our goal is your comfortable retirement. And as a fiduciary, we always put your interests first, because we do better when you do better. At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
At Valley Strong Credit Union, we know that local businesses are the backbone of the Central Valley, investing in our neighborhoods, boosting the economy, making the Valley stronger. But when it comes to their finances, where can they turn? A big bank that just sees another number? That's not good enough. Valley businesses deserve Valley support for payroll, credit, cash flow, and everything in between. Valley Business is Valley Strong. Learn how our cash management services can support your business at valleystrong.com.
At Elk Grove Honda, not only do we have a great selection of pre-owned cars at very fair prices, but every one of our pre-owned automobiles are treated with kid gloves with a 182-point inspection that covers everything from unibody to tires to brakes and engine filters. Then our cars receive a mobile oil change and fresh fill-up with full synthetic mobile oil. We know you have lots of choices of where to purchase your next car. Come to Elk Grove Honda, home of the 182-point inspection and mobile oil change. We're in the Elk Grove Auto Mall, Highway 99 at Elk Grove Boulevard.
As seen on Crazy Rich Asians, Silicon Valley, and more, it's Jimmy O Yang, Big and Tall Tour.
She was like, babe, what's your love language? I'm like, what? A love language could be words of affirmation.
I was raised by Asian parents. Their love language is verbal abuse.
Saturday, April 12th, the venue at Thunder Valley. For tickets, visit ThunderValleyResort.com. Don't miss them, Sacramento. Jimmy O Yang, Big and Tall Tour.
Drive Guys, live and local, every afternoon, Monday through Friday on Sacktown Sports.
Catching you up on the play-in race. You know, you got the Phoenix Suns, no Kevin Durant. Yeah, they're a game behind the Kings, but they still got a really tough schedule, and they have no KD for the foreseeable. They're visiting the Bucks tonight. Halftime, Milwaukee 60, Suns 57. So they're hanging in there. Devin Booker has 22 points in the first half. So, yesterday I mentioned to Kyle Draper, he's back with us tomorrow?
Yes.
Okay, he's back with us tomorrow, traveling with the team. I said, the Kings are in. They're pretty much in. He said, you never know. You never know. And so here, the Suns are hanging around in Milwaukee without Kevin Durant, 60-57.
Tell you one thing, the Bucks done already lost to the Suns in Phoenix. They better not lose to the Suns in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
They better not. Not after. And
can't happen.
That was right after Giannis put on his display of 22 points in the third quarter here in Sacramento. Then they went over to Phoenix and missed. He missed 2 crucial free throws, and Brook Lopez.
I like that name better, actually.
He missed one, but he did hit one to tie and push it to OT. They lost in overtime.
Yeah. So, as we speak here, the Kings are a game ahead of the Suns. It really, really, really looks like even if the Kings decided that they didn't want to be in the play-in and they tried to back out by sitting people, I still think they probably still would finish ahead of the Suns. But who knows? The Suns hanging in there. It's time now for Whitey's Wayback Machine quiz for April the 1st. By the way, thank you, Jay. None of those silly, April Fools and all that stuff.
Nah, man.
Yeah, you're
we're
above
adults
all
here,
that
brother.
stuff, huh?
Yeah, we're adults here, brother.
And there will be none of that tomfoolery on the quiz today. It's brought to you by Lee's Air, Plumbing, and Heating. Only 4 questions today in the quiz, just so everybody's upfrent about that. We only have 4.
Man? You didn't have time to do your research today, or what happened?
I don't know.
Spending time with K and Co? Yeah.
I did 4. I was like, yeah, that's good.
I'm done.
Actually, they're all the, closest to, and those take a little longer, because you guys need time to think about your guesses. So only have 4 of them, but they're all the closest to here. So it's going to be Jay against Ramsey. And let's see. Who's up first, Jay?
We'll let the visitor go.
How about that? All right, Ramsey, here's your categories. Remember, only 4 today. We have this date, what year in MLB? We have 1973, which is the closest to. 1999, which is the closest to. We also have 1996, which is the closest to. So this date, what year in MLB? 73, 99, 96. Ramsey, I think you're coming off your first victory. Where do you want to start, sir?
I'm going to go with my high school graduation year of 1999.
1999. Do you want Jay to go first?
Yes, please.
All right, Jay, here's the dang deal. Bear with me here. This sounds confusing, but it makes sense. This date, 1999, Joe Dumars plays his 1,000th game with the Pistons. The question is, how many NBA players have played 1,000 games for one team without playing any games for any other team?
Ever?
Yes.
Like they didn't play first 1,000 and then they went to another team?
Like Joe Dumars is one of them.
Yeah.
He played 1,000. He played more than 1,000 games all with one team.
Okay.
How many NBA players have played 1,000 or more games for only one team, never played for anybody else?
And how'd you find this? Goodness
that's why
gracious.
I didn't have time for the other 6.
Yeah,
this is a deep dive.
This is just a throw in the river. Not even the river, the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll make sure I'm going to clarify. How many players have played 1,000 games for one organization and never played anywhere else?
That is correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
man.
Joe Dumars is one of them.
Come on.
That's a lot of games, Jay.
Yeah, it is. Retrospect, you're looking at about 10 to 11 seasons, putting some injuries and everything else in there.
Mm-hmm. Joe Dumars, this day, 1999, plays his 1,000th game with the Pistons. How many NBA players all time have played 1,000 games or more for one team without playing any games for any other team?
I just throw in the bucket. I'm going to say 75.
75? What do you think there, Ramsey? Guys that have played 1,000 or more games for only one team, never played for another team.
I'll go 74.
The answer is 8.
8? That can't be right. Nah. We're already off on the wrong foot.
That is 8.
8 guys have only played 1,000.
It's a lot of games, Jay.
I don't believe that.
Yeah.
I honestly thought when you asked the question, I was going to say 10.
Ramsey's on the board.
Come on.
Yeah.
Where'd you find? I need to check fact that. Brendan, you got your check factor, check finder out? Yeah, there's no way. 8 guys have only played 1,000 games for one team.
And never played for another. Yeah.
Man, we're talking about guys like the Bill Russells and all that type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about that.
You have
that's an asterisk already.
You got to put that behind you.
I will, but we need to focus up on that a little bit too.
This day, what year in MLB? 1973, 1996. Ramsey with the 1-0 lead.
96.
All right. It's the closest to you. Want him to go first?
Sure.
All right. Ramsey, with the Coliseum being renovated this day, 1996, the A's play their home opener at Cashman Field in Las Vegas. Before how many fans were rounded to the nearest 1,000? This date, 1996, the A's actually play their home opener in Las Vegas as the Coliseum is being renovated. Before how many fans to the closest 1,000?
I want to say, I'm going to say 11,000.
11,000.
Read the question. I didn't even hear it. I was doing some work.
This date, 1996, with the Coliseum being renovated, the A's play their home opener at Cashman Field in Las Vegas.
Okay.
Before how many fans? Rounded to the nearest 1,000. Ramsey said 11,000.
Ooh, that's a good guess. That ballpark carries around 15-ish.
1996, the A's played a home opener
in
Las Vegas.
Yeah, 10,999.
Yeah, the answer is 7,000.
Yeah.
It was 7,296.
Like
and Jay has tied the game 1-1.
With that first one, I don't know. We got to check that.
I'll show it to you.
Yeah, I don't believe wherever you got that from. That's not right.
All right, Ramsey. This day, what year in MLB? In 1973, a 1-1 game.
Let's go this day, Major League Baseball.
All right. Now, since it's this day, what year, you get to hear it and decide if you want to go first or Jay goes first. This day, what year in MLB? Shohei Ohtani beats the A's in his Major League Baseball pitching debut.
2018.
He's got it. Ramsey has it. He's got the 2-1 lead.
That might be the easiest question we've had on Whitey's Wayback quiz.
And you want to know how I know?
That might be the easiest.
I worked for the A's and I worked that game, so I know.
Did you?
Yes, I did. I was working in the box office that day.
What'd you think? How was he throwing that day? Did you think, oh, this guy's a bum? Or did you think he's going to be great?
He had it. He was just wild that day.
Yeah.
It was a Sunday afternoon game.
Mm-hmm. Tell you what we'll do, Jay. You weren't happy with the first one. It's 2-1. We'll make this next one a potential tiebreaker. So if you get this, you would win on the tiebreaker.
All right.
If Ramsey gets it, he wins 3-1.
No problem.
And you're up. 1973. You want him to go first?
What is it? Closest to?
Yeah, it is the closest to.
I'll let him go first.
All right, Ramsey. This date, 1973, John Havlicek ties an NBA record for most field goals in a playoff game. Most field goals in a playoff game. He shares the record now with Wilt and Michael Jordan. What is the record, NBA record, most field goals or baskets made in an NBA playoff game?
Let's go 27.
27.
Got to read the question. I apologize to the listeners. I'm doing 3 things.
It's okay. A lot of the listeners probably would want to hear it too.
Go ahead.
Then there's others that are like, I really don't need to hear it. I wish you were doing something else. This date, 1973.
Okay.
John Havlicek ties an NBA record for most field goals in a playoff game. He shares the record with Will and MJ. What is the record for most field goals made in an NBA playoff game?
Oof.
Ramsey is in at 27.
Okay.
This being the tiebreaker, you would win if you get this right. If you miss it, if he gets it, he, of course, will win. So looking for the record, most field goals made in an NBA playoff game, shared by John Havlicek, this date, 1973. Also, Michael Jordan and Wilt Chamberlain.
I'm going to go 28 just based on Jordan had 64. Remember playoffs. I'm going to say 28.
The answer is 24.
Oh.
Ramsey has the win in a thriller. Congratulations, Ramsey.
Thank you.
Yeah. Jay, I know he's gonna start looking things up.
Yeah, I'm going to look that one up.
Are you filing a formal protest yet, or are you going to look into things first?
No, I'm not filing a formal protest. That one was a little shaky right there. I don't know about that number 8.
Thank you, Jay.
And you may that might be the simplest question that we've had on Whitey's Wayback quiz.
Yeah.
You were tired. It's okay to skip a day. It's fine. It's okay.
Well, I guess you just did. So thank you, Jay. I will see you tomorrow.
Shohei's debut. Kenji could have answered that.
I didn't know he worked it. I didn't know he was a
that was a couple of years ago
for the Angels that day. Thanks for being with us. Truncated show tomorrow. We have Return of the Roar. More exciting Kings talk. You'll learn a thing or two on Return of the Roar next on Sacktown Sports.
Stay up to date on Sacramento sports. Join the Sacktown Sports